Hello, good morning. Now, have you thought about how the day will be if, say, you got up and you couldn't speak? Not because of anything, but because you're no longer part of the living. Have you thought about it? Now, how does that thinking, or what does that thinking bring to your mind? It tells you that, I'm probably sure that it conveys to you that once you have the chance to live, it is your opportunity that God has granted you to make right the wrongs of yesterday. We're all given 24 hours in a day. Depending on how you use it, is the outcome that you will get. So if you sow right today, you reap right tomorrow. So sow right today and reap right tomorrow. If you sow wrongly, you reap wrongly. So judge what you do. Yesterday someone said, we're all equal, so don't look down on anybody. Watch your actions today, because those will guide what will happen to you tomorrow. Welcome to the AM show. Now here's what is driving the conversation today. On News Review, these are matters arising. The opposition NPP is raising concerns before the diplomatic community. What are they alleging? They are alleging political sponsored arrest and harassment of party members, while warning of possible consequences if what it calls attacks on democracy continues. Now, yesterday we've been having conversations with them, and they say that all that is happening points to one, that the government is intolerant to divergent views. Is that the case, or is the law being applied rightly? We'll delve into that later on the show. And fresh poverty figures are also putting the spotlight back on development gaps, with 6 northern regions ranking among the poorest in Ghana. The question still remains, can years of inequality and underdevelopment be reversed? And that reversal, can it happen within a short time? Or must we give it time? As they say, give time some time. We'll delve into that as well. Now, also, the rent control department is in the news. And last time I heard someone say, this is the time we've had the rent control actually working. Why? Because they have ordered a suspension of hostel fees increases as accommodation costs continue to squeeze students and families. But can the directive stand, and will operators comply? As they say, well, I have my property. If you say they shouldn't, then they should get out of my space. We'll look at it now. 14 civil society organizations are entering the legal debate surrounding the office of the special prosecutor after being admitted by the Supreme Court as amicus curiae. You remember when the matter about the issue surrounding the Supreme Court came, these CSOs suggested that they would want to join the case. The question was whether or not the Supreme Court will admit them or not. Today, they have been admitted. Now, what difference could their intervention make? We'll find out. We'll discuss these and more with our panel. And then we'll bring you our big story. Our big story this morning revisits the long-standing issue of locked-up funds and distressed investors, an issue that led to the creation of the Amalgamated Mutual Fund, AM Fund, the government-backed special purpose vehicle established and managed by GCB Capital to support a bailout process for customers affected by the collapse of some fund management firms during Ghana's financial sector cleanup. But years after those interventions, concerns remain over investors who say they are still waiting for the relief. Case in point, customers of Gold Coast Fund Management have now petitioned President John Mahama for audience, saying many investors continue to struggle with inaccessible funds and the economic and emotional toll that has followed. They point to what they describe as the absence of a dedicated solution in the 2026 budget and are seeking direct engagement on a path toward resolution for a crisis that has lingered for years. But before all these, Denise Apumaye will bring us the news. My name is Samuel Kojo Braze, and I do this always with Emefa, Akosua, Adeti. On behalf of our production team, we say thank you for making us part of your morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning, and welcome aboard to the AM News. My name is Denise Apomaje, and our very first story. The 14 civil society organizations seeking to join the controversial case challenging the powers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor have expressed satisfaction following the Supreme Court's decision to admit them as interested parties in the case. The 7-member panel, presided over by Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni, held that the inclusion of the CSOs would be significant in finally determining the matter. Member of our Legal Affairs Desk, Fatal Bayaga, was at the Supreme Court and filed this report.
During the proceedings today, the 7-member panel presided over by Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni admitted the application after lead counsel of the applicants, Kizito Bayo, argued that the CSOs are independent bodies with experience and valuable information that would assist the Apex Court in determining this matter. Shortly after the court's decision, lawyers of the applicants expressed satisfaction with the position of the bench. Here is Samson Ladi Ayinani and Clement Akapam.
As you heard the lead counsel, Kizito Bayo, clearly put before the court, we believe that when I say we, not as lawyers, I'm talking about the CSOs that are coming in, believe that the court deserves a certain view that is currently missing in the arguments. And that's what has been put before the court. And thankfully, as you heard my lords, they have read the brief and they appreciate that it is important and it will help the court to come to, as His Lordship said, the Chief Justice said, a lasting solution.
So our main argument is for the court to look at the history on the establishment of this office, and we are calling the court's attention to some interpretative matters that they will also need to look at. So that's what we can say up until this point, because we are now going to put our full arguments before the court, and we don't want the court to be hearing it in the media before it gets to their table. So this is what we can say in brief.
The Executive Director of Transparency International, Moree Awelana Ada, and the Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the Center for Democratic Development, Kojo Pumpuni Asante, also expressed excitement following the decision of the court, maintaining that their inclusion will significantly assist the Apex Court in determining the case.
Yeah, first of all, we must say we are very grateful to the panel for reading through our brief and agreeing that as independents, as they also represent independence, it is a good thing that we want to join. And so we would want to thank the Supreme Court and the panel today for seeing our point of view and believing that we come with history, we come with a certain competence to join this case.
Important. And I hope that the Supreme Court will treat it with, the speed that it needs, because there are real life implications and impact already, even without the court determining on our prosecution processes. Cases have been suspended. you know, if you ask prosecutors when you are prosecuting a case and you get this interruption, it may give the accused, you know, certain advantages that is not helpful. So this is very, very important. So the most important thing is that we can have finality to this process.
Meanwhile, the Apex Court has given the applicants 14 days to file their processes in support of the determination of this case. Reporting for Joy News from the Supreme Court here in Accra, I'm Fatal Bayaga.
Now from the courts, let's head to Parliament. The Public Accounts Committee has directed the management of the Anglo Afia Denigba SHS to refund an amount of 10,000 cedis to 5 casual workers paid below the minimum wage. The workers, the Auditor General noted, were paid a monthly salary of 260 Ghana cedis, far below the required minimum wage of 490 cedis. James Haveji has details in the following report.
The 5 persons, according to the Auditor General, were engaged by management of the Anglo Afia Denigba SHS to work as pantry staff, cooks, and a security officer between January to September 2024. The report identified that instead of paying them at least 490 cedis per the national minimum wage, they were each paid 250 cedis per month.
Why do you need a security guy? For the security or the safety of the campus and the students and property of...
So you want this person to secure the school, protect your property, and you are underpaying this guy. Huh? If you don't pay him the right amount, he will pay himself. When your computer gets missing, don't go and ask him. You are underpaying him. When your books are getting missing at the school, don't ask him, because you are underpaying him. See, just because somebody is poor doesn't mean we have to take advantage of that person. Just because somebody needs a job doesn't mean we have to take advantage of that person. Pay people the right wages.
Chairperson of the committee, Abner Asari, insisting that the arrest of 10,800 cedis must be paid to the workers plus any additional accrual over the period.
So you owe them the difference of 240 over the duration that they worked for the school, and then the new difference from 2026 or 2025 to date. You owe them that difference, and we will pursue you to make sure you give it to them because they have worked for it.
Tuesday's sitting largely saw infractions of senior high schools across Volta, Central and the Greater Accra region, ranging from non-retrieval of textbooks and calculators running into thousands of cedis and earned salary, among others. 2 head teachers from Ganata and Anglo SHS, however, received commendations for their due diligence.
School in 2023 as a head mistress. Then I'm really proud of you. Yes. It is only women who can push this far. Yes. Yeah. 22. And he's yet to even get the, is it the site location, or he has the map and not the site plan. And here is one head mistress who came in 2023, and in 2024, a surveyor can confidently confirm that he has the title to the school's asset. And I want you to help all the other schools who have been cited for this particular infraction to see how best you can support them to also get their titles regulated. Yes.
Chairman, let me commend
been able to recover 300.
The headmaster. You don't finish. Let me commend him, because out of 313, yes, he's been able to retrieve 300.
Wow.
It's highly commendable.
Thank you.
But somebody came here and sat here with over 440 textbooks. He said you are taking only one.
The Public Accounts Committee returned on Wednesday. James Aveji, Joy News.
Now, the Minister for Government Communications and MP for Abrasebu-Kwamankese, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, has warned residents of Moree against illegal sand winning, describing it as a key driver of coastal disasters such as tidal waves. The caution follows a recent tidal wave incident that displaced about 80 residents, with authorities set to strengthen beach security and sanction offenders.
The Member of Parliament for Abra Asebu Kwaman Kese constituency, Felix Kojo, and the Central Regional Directorate of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, presented food items and other relief supplies to residents affected by last Saturday's tidal wave disaster in Moree. Mr. Kojo assured displaced residents that efforts will be made to secure new homes for victims, while promising the completion of the sea defense project along the community's coastline.
For now, I would say that the affected victims are adequately catered for. But beyond this, we need to move a step further to resettle them. And that is the next conversation we are having. So I'm sure that in due course, we should assist them to resettle and move them out of danger. So once I got into office, I engaged the relevant authorities, and the processes were sped up to commence the construction of the sea defense. They've come quite far, but it's unfortunate that where the incident happened over the weekend is just where they had gotten to. So I'm certain that in the coming weeks and months, they should be able to complete it to protect the people permanently from this disaster. But we will offer help to those who need it the most.
He further issued a stern warning against illegal sand winning along the beach, indicating that security in the area would be intensified to clamp down on the practice.
Yes, it's a worrying phenomenon here. There are some recalcitrant youth who still engage in sand winning. So indeed, I've had discussions with the district chief executive, who is also the district security, council chairman, and he's liaising with the relevant authorities here to mount surveillance and apprehend anybody who engages in that kind of activity.
Responding to the assurances, affected residents called for a swift relocation process.
We are
happy with the relief items. I have lost 2 of my homes, so we are pleading with government to continue assisting us. But we want an expedited relocation process. The contractor should work with urgency. If the sea destroys our homes, we have nowhere to go. Meanwhile, the Central Regional Director of NADMO, Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood, indicated that underlying factors responsible for a recent flooding on the Briwa Cape Coast Road will be addressed.
The situation has been brought to normalcy. There is free flow of traffic, but issues that brought about the blockage shall be dealt with in our next regional security committee meetings and our next regional disaster management committee meetings, so that such incidences do not occur again.
From Moree, Abigail Lesol Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
From the Central region, let me take you to the Upper West region. For years, a bucket of water in Wa West and Wa East cost more than sweat. It cost time, tempers, and dignity. Women queued before dawn, boreholes were overwhelmed with demand, and arguments often escalated into daily confrontations. That story is now beginning to change following the unveiling of a 5-year plan by the World Vision Ghana to provide safe water, sanitation, and hygiene to about 700,000 people across the country, with special focus on the 2 poverty-stricken districts. Join us Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
For years, water in Wa West and Wa East meant long walks, crowded boreholes, and daily fights. Today, that narrative is changing. World Vision Ghana has launched a 5-year plan to bring safe water, sanitation, and hygiene to 700,000 people across Wa West and Wa East districts.
As we all know, WASH is not just about infrastructure. It is about health. It is about dignity. It is about equity, and also about opportunity.
Joshua Bedu, World Vision's Director of Strategy and Integrated Program, says the mission is bigger than pipes and taps.
Access to safe water, adequate sanitation, and proper hygiene practices underpins human development and is fundamental to achieving broader goals such as poverty reduction, education outcomes, and economic growth.
It is about making sure no one is left behind, stated Universal World Service Programs Manager Cephas Widam.
Message that by 2030 and perhaps beyond 2032, we should be able to reach 700,000 people. Already in our programming, we are able to reach nearly 100,000 people every year with safe water. So at the national level, for WASH, this is our plan to achieving USC.
The blueprint is set. Now it's about delivery. Robel Wumiso represented the National Director of World Vision Ghana.
We hope 5 years down the line, we want to come here and then also assess where we have reached. What are the results that we have chalked over the period of time, and then we celebrate together.
Senior lecturer and development advocate Dr. George Jerry, who chaired the function, churned out sovereign data. He praised World Vision Ghana for targeting the most vulnerable 2 districts in the region.
Even though in the Upper West region, we have about 24% access, especially among rural communities. In terms of clean water, the data we have is not very good. In fact, 93% of the water consumed in many of the rural areas that we have access to are said to be contaminated, and that's a bit of a worry. And so I started looking at the intersection between water, sanitation, and hygiene. Then I realized that we have a lot to do, because it's not just about access, but it's also about having access to good drinking water, and especially in an environment that is.
But the mood here is hopeful. Richard Wulu, former assembly member for Kangba electoral area and now DCE for War West, recalled how his community, Kangba, got solar-powered borehole in 2020 without a lobby.
As I speak today, women who used to fight almost every day in the few boreholes that were existing is a thing of the past. People are now, so the World Vision provided mechanized boreholes is what the people assess now.
Why is District Chief Executive Adamu Saibu on his part said the intervention comes at the right time for a district that has struggled with potable water for years and pledged Assembly's full commitment to coordination and support.
It is rather our mandate that you are supporting us to prosecute, and for that matter, we have no choice than to lead the way for you people.
The MOU has the backing of the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, but success depends on sustainability and hygiene education, according to its Chief Planning Officer, Richard Ni Ajielai.
For our facilities that will be provided, I think, like I said earlier, we need to really take good care of them. And to World Vision, I think we should also put a lot of emphasis on the hygiene aspect, because when we provide the facilities, the water is clean, but if they use contaminated or unhygienic containers to fetch or store the water, we've done nothing. Everything goes back to zero.
From policy tables to village taps, the message is clear. Safe water is not a privilege, it is a right. And in Wa West and Wa East, that right is finally flowing. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wa.
Well, we'll bring you business news, and the Ahanta Pele Samuel Kojo will bring you that right after this breather.
Let's do some business updates now. The country's total debt stock has increased marginally to reach new levels. Data from Bank of Ghana show that it reached 674 billion cedis ending February this year. There's more in this report.
The new figure is slightly higher than the about 641 billion cedis recorded ending December last year. The data also showed that when it comes to Ghana's debt as a share of the economy or debt to GDP ratio, it has declined further to new levels of 42.2%. Ghana's external debt in cedi terms ending February stood at 313 billion cedis, while the domestic debt was pegged at 360 billion cedis. The new data also showed that Ghana is on track when it comes to the country's debt reaching sustainable levels. Also, this might give government that space to borrow to finance infrastructure development.
Now, Acting Chief Executive of the Real Estate Agency Council, Emmanuel Jeffrey, has revealed that the government is targeting the year 2028 to make affordable housing accessible to the middle class and low-income earners in society. He noted that the initiative is in response to Ghana's housing deficit, which currently stands at 1.5 million units. He made these remarks at the 15th anniversary celebration of Enterprise Properties Limited.
2 weeks ago, State Housing just launched affordable housing in Kumasi. That shows a lot of government initiative. You noticed a couple of months ago, there's another one, TDC in Volta region, Oxygen City. So you can notice that this government, especially my president, is somebody who thinks about affordable housing as key. Because we notice that there's a strong deficit of about 1.5 million, and we have to work towards it. And you can see what the president is doing and what the Ministry of Works and Housing is doing. So they are strong advocates for that. So we're looking at, by the end of 2028, there'll be a lot of affordable housing that you can afford, I can afford, and everybody else can afford. That you know that this government is actually working for the cause of the middle class and the poor people.
Well, that's how we wrap up the AM Business Update. Back to you, Denicia.
Thank you, Samuel Kojo, the Hantapile himself. Well, that's it for AM News. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is sports. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a lovely Wednesday.
We bring on sports now on the AM show with me, Muftao Nabila Abla. 22 days more to the FIFA World Cup that will be happening in the USA, Mexico, and Canada. And if you are a corporate institution, if you are a business organization, you might have known that at this point, Ghana exports about billions of non-traditional goods and services to the USA. And Ghana's World Cup match against England presents an opportunity for you to display your products to the rest of the world and be part of the billions of dollars that are being exported into the country, and also showcase your products to the millions of people who are going to be in the US for the FIFA World Cup. So Latina Travel and Tour, in partnership with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, they have put together what is known as the 2026 FIFA World Cup Business Expo. So they are inviting corporate organizations such as pharmaceuticals, fashion designers, and other businesses out there that are seeking to market their products to the rest of the world. To be a part of this, you need to call Latina Travel on 0244-260-789, 0244-260-789, or walk to Latina office at Alisa Hotel, Northridge, to secure your booth. Go there and have the conversation with them, and you'll be able to secure a booth to be able to market your products to the rest of the world. And also, if you want to give your customers, your clients, or your staff a best retreat during this summer, the best way to get them to be able to experience the best moment of their lives is to have them watch the FIFA World Cup at the semi-final or the final stages. Match Hospitality Experience, they are the only FIFA authorized agency who have been given a small batch of tickets to sell during the World Cup period. For you to be able to secure these tickets, you need to get in touch with 055-155-119, 055-155-119, or sales at marchexphospitality.com, or visit our website, www.marchexphospitality.com. We'll be talking about Ghana Black Stars pretty soon, and Ghana Black Stars that will also be in action pretty soon. But before that, the Minister of Sports and Recreation wrote to World Aquatics telling them that he wanted Ghana Swimming Association disbanded and that a stabilization committee should be set up. He gave World Aquatics Committee 25 days to disband the leadership of Ghana Swimming Association, or else he was going to set up a committee to oversee the governance of swimming in the country. This letter was written on April 29. And on May 8th, World Aquatics responded to his letter, telling him that they were never going to disband the leadership of the Ghana Swimming Association and that they are the only body recognized by World Aquatics. They also indicated in the said letter that the Swimming Association is an independent institution and that government interference would not be accepted, or else Ghana will be banned from participating in future events. Well, the minister says, despite the letter from World Aquatics, his office intends to fight the current leadership of Ghana Swimming Association and that the recent elections that they organized would never be recognized.
We have initiated a process to reach out to them because from their response, it is very clear that they did not have understanding of the issues. They have been misinformed, and usually federations love to hide under political interference and political this, political that. That's the first thing they want to do, even where there is no where even they are the ones that are doing things against the laws of the country where they want to operate. Autonomy doesn't mean that you should operate outside the laws of the country. No. Interference does not include getting federations to operate within the laws of a country. And these IFs have always told the national federations that you are to operate within the laws of the countries where you exist. And so we will be engaging the World Aquatics to let them understand where it all started and why we are in to make sure that we stabilize swimming in Ghana, because there's a lot of talent here that must not be destroyed. There's a lot of talent here that we must not allow any selfish interest of any individual group. Look, me seated here as minister was nominated by the Ghana Swimming Association and African Aquatics to be honored as a great ambassador of their cause. the same me that is trying, all of a sudden, when I want the right thing to be done, I've become the bad person that is interfering. So when they nominated me as ambassador and wrote to me, was it because I was interfering? So since when did I switch from being a great ambassador to now becoming an interfering agent? It should tell you clearly that people just don't want the right thing to be done. But I am not one of those that you think that, you want to give me awards or honors to make me feel swollen-headed and therefore look the other way for you to do what is wrong. I would not do that. You asked about the court case. It was part of the conditions for the ministry to intervene was that the petitioners must withdraw the case from court, which they did, largely, in order that we will be able to have this engagement. And more than 7 meetings were held to reach the point that they have reached. And in all these meetings, what guided the process was the constitution of Ghana Swimming Association, or Ghana Aquatics. They had representatives, as I said earlier, on this committee that was dealing with matters. They signed a memorandum of understanding.
Now we hear from, we still stay with the minister. He's been talking about Ghana's organization of the African Athletics Championships that concluded last Sunday. And according to him, Ghana put up one of the best events yet.
Despite the operational pressures associated with hosting a continental championship of this scale, Ghana successfully delivered the championship. And indeed, many federations have commended Ghana for the hosting of the 24th Senior African Athletic Championship. Some have indicated, one Ethiopian medical officer indicated he has been with the team for 38 good years, has gone to almost about 6+ Olympic competitions, and have attended a number of African Games and Athletic Championship. He has not seen a very properly well-coordinated activities like he witnessed. Some of you, the media guys, were there. You interviewed them. You spoke to them. And so competition schedules, ladies and gentlemen, were completed successfully. Athletes competed under recognized continental standards. And Ghana once again demonstrated its growing capacity to host major sporting events. We do not want to make any comparisons, but we think that we pulled through a very successful competition.
Still on the minister, he's been speaking about Black Stars campaign ahead of the FIFA World Cup. According to him, the senior national team is likely to be in camp 5 clear days before their opening match against Panama on June 17.
International friendlies have also been lined up as part of the final phase of preparation ahead of the tournament, including what will be played in Mexico in May 2026, also that's 22nd. In that one, not many of our key players will be part. Then the Wales in early June 2026 in Cardiff, which the coach will use to test his team very clearly. The Ghana Football Association is also exploring one final preparatory match within the period between 2nd and 10th of June 2026 before the team moves fully into tournament camp. These matches are intended to help the technical team test systems and formations, assess player combinations, build tactical cohesion, improve competitive sharpness ahead of the tournament. The Black Stars are expected to report to the team-based camp approximately 5 days before Ghana's opening fixture. Overall, the ministry remains satisfied with the technical, operational, and logistical process being made towards Ghana's participation in the tournament.
That was the sports minister, and he had a press engagement, and it lasted over an hour. So for more of what transpired during that press conference, go to myjoyonline.com for some more sports stories. Now, let's go to the camp of the Black Stars. They have been paired with the Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Somalia for the 2027 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. My colleague, Razak Musbao, has more in the following report.
The draw, which was held at the headquarters of the Egyptian Football Association in Cairo, will see the Black Stars battle former African champions Ivory Coast, Gambia and Somalia for a place in the tournament, with the top 2 teams qualifying. The Black Stars will be hoping to make a strong start to the qualifiers after failing to win any of their matches during the qualification campaign for the 2025 AFCON, a disappointing run that saw them miss out on the tournament in Morocco. Meanwhile, CAF has condensed qualification schedule due to the short period before the finals. The opening 2 matches are scheduled for the FIFA window from September 21st to October 6th, while match days 3 and 4 will be played on November 9 to 17. The final 2 rounds of qualifiers will then take place from March 22nd to the 30th of 2027. The 2027 edition of the tournament will be jointly hosted by Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda in the first East African co-hosting arrangement in the competition's modern era. The tournament is scheduled to run from June 19 to July 17. Ghana's last participation in the tournament came in 2023 when the team suffered a disappointing group stage exit under coach Chris Hughton. That followed another disappointing group stage elimination in 2021 when the Black Stars failed to win a single match. With expectations high among supporters, the upcoming qualifiers will present an opportunity for the Black Stars to rebuild confidence and secure a return to Africa's biggest football stage after recent setbacks.
CAF Under-17 African Cup of Nations is currently ongoing in Morocco. Ghana will be up later today against South Africa. However, let's take a look at the results of other matches that have been played so far. And Cameroon, they won their game by 1-0 against DR Congo. Cote d'Ivoire drew 2-2 against Uganda. Morocco won 2-1 against Egypt, and Tunisia lost their game by 1-0 against Ethiopia. As I mentioned, Black Stars will be in action against South Africa later today. They had already drawn and lost one of their matches. They are hoping that the win today will probably give them an opportunity of progressing to the next phase of the competition. Arsenal are champions of England for the first time in about 22 years. We'll bring you their highlights pretty soon, but let's take a look at how Chelsea won their game by 2-1 against Tottenham Hotspur.
Porro wants it and bends across in. It's a good one, and Tally's there, clawed out by Sanchez. What a save. Back in again.
The inside of the post, or the goalkeeper gets a hand on it. We'll see it from here. Yeah, hits the post.
Neto, Palmer, sharp ball, back to Palmer again. Tony Kinski, Pedro Neto. Enzo Fernandez told to shoot by Stamford Bridge, and he does.
Fernandez going to be whipping that in towards the far post.
He does, and hits the frame of the goal. Finds Paulinho Bentzquist to try and tidy up. Enzo Fernandez, Palmer loves this area, and just Porro's corner. Richarlison wrestling, and Sanchez holds on to his header. Works it out to Neto. Chelsea have 3 arriving. And squared to Andre Santos. They've got the crossing angle here, Spurs. Now they do. Gallagher turns it towards goal. Spencer is a runner, and it's Saar, but the pass is way too loose. Porro Onto that second ball, Tell now back onto Porro, cuts it back, Sarr back heels, and Richarlison gets Spurs back in the game from close range.
That's what we needed. That was exactly what we needed. Players forward, ball in the box, Richarlison unmarked at the far post.
Maddison felt that was running to him. Rolls it into Richarlison. Maddison is in! Oh, what a tackle! There's a few tackles off of the ball.
You can see Richarlison's pointing to the spot because he feels it was a foul by Cucurella. The yellow card comes out for who?
How did Arsenal become champions? They became champions because Bournemouth held Manchester City to a 1-1 draw.
Kovacic, and now Haaland, and now Semenyo. Semenyo finishes, the flag is up. The flag is up against Antoine Semenyo. It was a good move though. He was just offside. Tavernier, Truffert. It's good football. Tavernier, Evan Nielsen puts it over. Wow, it looks easier to score. Truffert again, he's looked a real menace down this side, and he finds Krupi, and Krupi scores. 6 minutes to half-time, and City's task has just got harder. Now they have to score twice. It's a good turn from Semenyo. And now he finds Haaland, and City have 2 over, and one of them is O'Reilly! Saved! Doku maybe, and it's cleared. Good move from City, and O'Reilly denied by Petrovic. That's a good turn. Oh, and now Brooks is through. Real chance, and he's hit the post, and City survive. Well, 1-0 was hard enough, 2-0 would have been almost impossible. O'Reilly, Kuzanov, Haaland, head tennis. Can anyone get a shot in? Dangerous boot. Rodri hits the post. Haaland, 1-1. Is the time. 5th minute of added time. Can City get a late goal and take it to the final day? Oh, he's away, Savinho. He's got beyond Cook. Might this be the moment? Savinho and Rodri. Oh, they might have hit Cherki. What an opportunity. Just wasn't to be. Is there going to be time? No time for Donnarumma. There's the whistle. And City have come up just short.
And Arsenal fans celebrated as though they had just won the game. They came up against Burnley. They secured victory in that game against Burnley. And what it meant was that Manchester City needed to respond. And their response was to give them victory. And that victory would have meant that the league title would have been taken to the wire. But unfortunately, it didn't go their way. Arsenal are champions for the first time in about 22 years. 22 years. They are also in a contention for a UEFA Champions League title. They are in the final of that competition, and they will be coming up against PSG on May 30. And the only place you need to be on that very day is the Aviation Social Center, where Rep Your Jersey would be happening. We expect to have thousands of you join us for that finale. And with Arsenal winning the English Premier League, fans are expected to show up hoping that they'll win the Champions League. And that will mean that they will win some of the biggest trophies in their history. First-time Premier League winners in 22 years. Would they be first-time UEFA Champions League winners in their history? Arsenal, congratulations to them. Before I wrap up, let me say, this outfit is courtesy Loom Fashion. Loom Fashion, they turn every fabric into a style, from stunning custom-made outfits for ladies and gentlemen to professional bulk services for boutique and school owners. So they deliver quality, creativity, and perfection with every stitch. Loom Fashion bring out the lady and the gentleman in you. You can get in touch with them. They are at Ofako Road, opposite April Fuel Station, adjacent Traders Palace, Newcastle Market. So get in touch with them on 024-650-1801. That is your sports. For now, head on to myjoyonline.com for some more sports stories. We appreciate your company.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Makwanu gede be miakponu yo mienola gado yi la aja agoma cho mohaha de anuji. Belala na mama di na sesi eshi ayo. Enye belala ngudododo blanu swe wowo ni.
Jofa dada nanu ja agome chonya plewo belala bashad beji.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix. Taste of Ghana.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number one, let's bring Baby Girl. Let's bring. You did for you.
Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
From Africa to football's biggest stage, you are invited to be a part of it. Feel the rush, the passion of every moment. Don't just watch the game. Live the FIFA World Cup experience. With VIP seatings, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, priority access at every turn, luxury all around you. Seamless, effortless, exceptional. Because this is more than a ticket. This is your FIFA World Cup 2026 experience. Brought to you by Match Experience Hospitality. Call 055 155 1119 or visit matchexphospitality.com to secure your packages or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, for more information and payment.
Hello, my name is Pamela from customer service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Ghana's young people are witnessing climate change, not in textbooks, but in their communities. Changing rains, flooding, drought, food insecurity. Their stories are real. And now it's time for the nation to hear them. Join News in partnership with the Africa Climate Collaborative at the University of Ghana, CDKN Ghana, Beyond the Science, and YEFL Ghana proudly present a national dialogue on Ghana's youth and climate change. Trained youth climate reporters, one national platform, powerful community stories from across Ghana on radio, TV, digital, and social media. Join us for an evening of storytelling, expert dialogue, and recognition of Ghana's boldest young climate voices. It's live on Joy News, Thursday, 21st of May 2026, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Youth Voices, Climate Stories, the future of climate action in Ghana by Ghanaian.
Hello there. So we shall review the news shortly. A lot of matters arise, and there's so much for Kojo to discuss with the panelists. But let me run you through the newspapers quickly. I'll start with the Daily Graphic this morning. Kojo says that VRA, NEDCO staff rejects privatization. We also know that quite a significant number of persons that belong to the TUC have said that, well, privatization will not favor them. And this is coming on the backdrop of the IMF encouraging Ghana to at least fast-track the decision to privatize a section of the commercial losses that we've been recording. Yep.
We should rather say private sector participation.
Well, yes. Entirely. The IMF is it's not saying that we should sell off ECG or anything, but for TUC, they say that any form of it on the value chain does not even favor them. And so for the purpose of the conversation, you know that it's not the entire ECG, but on the chain, a part of it that we think that would help Ghana. And this has been the conversation. So a story of that is on page 3 of the Daily Graphic. And as well, mining sector delivers over 2 billion royalties first quarter. Details of this, Kojo, is on page 13 of the Daily Graphic this morning. And Supreme Court permits CSOs to join suit challenging OSP. OSP's matter has been in the fore for a while now. Now, a number of CSOs, quite a lot of them, have been granted the opportunity to join via the legal term amicus curiae. If you know this, it means that it's a friend of the court. So you're originally not part of the suit, but you can at least apply for the court to grant you the opportunity to provide information or some relevant, stuff that the courts may need.
What was the first time you heard amicus curiae?
Sorry, my poor memory.
Election petition of 2012.
2012.
That was the first time I heard.
Yeah. If you do the math and you subtract it out of my age.
Oh.
But anyway, so Accra Fireside Dialogue, experts, diplomats discuss structural barriers to Africa's global influence, and Black Stars believe not rebuilding. Assistant coach has been saying, Kojo, we need to believe in the Black Stars.
Yes, why not? I do.
Not rebuilding. You certain that you can believe in them without rebuilding them? It's at the back of the Daily Graphic if you're interested. Take a read. The Daily Guide this morning, embattled MP faces Dutch court tomorrow. Page 3 has been giving us details of the Asante Achim North MP who has been detained by the Netherlands authorities on suspected fraudulent activity. So we'll be following that conversation for you as well. And NPP petitions diplomatic community over political persecutions. Kojo had an extensive conversation on that on Top Story yesterday. I like to think that Kojo would discuss it on the desk this morning as well. Illegal miners invaded Wuntumi's Akonta mining. Ex-deputy minister, and this is the deputy minister at the time who was in charge of lands and natural resources, who mounted the witness box and has been giving some information that he didn't assign his concession to other miners. In fact, illegal miners invaded the concession. That's an interesting twist. And also, a Supreme Court blocks Gift Yowari's move to halt trial. If you grab a copy of the Daily Guide, you get more details. The Insight, Kwesi Pratt calls for global research to correct historical injustice amid demand for repatriation. It's an interesting read. It's on page 3 of the Insight this morning. And I already brought you the update on how Supreme Court has cleared the CSOs to join suit challenging OSP prosecutorial powers. We get some clarity after that matter in court. The Ghanaian publisher NPP petitions diplomats over political persecutions. You already know that. Kojo will bring you details. Apostle Kojo suffered to be buried July 30. Look out for that. If you sympathize with the family, it's time to also prepare for the funeral. Bagbin urges renewed anti-corruption drive at APNAC meeting, and Wuntumi assigned no mineral rights, Miriku Duka, and that's the former deputy minister in charge of lands and natural resources, who mounted the witness box yesterday. But reluctantly, I know the Aslan, they are champions. Yeah, that's it.
Move on.
Talk
about Moree.
They're champions.
Talk about Moree.
Why am I Why the strand was a chump?
Let's say. celebration upon no champion.
We're in for that. Fred Smith will kill us today.
I'll go to the newsroom.
I know, don't. I will not also the discover. NPP petitioned diplomatic course to monitor Ghana's human rights situation, and Mahama government is becoming unpopular much faster than expected. Frank Anodompre has been asserting. Netizens also said the blast Sam George over misbehavior at a Public Accounts Committee hearing. If you're interested, it's in the Discover newspaper this morning. And after 22 years in the wilderness, Arsenal are champions of England again. And feeding crisis in Chirponi SHS triggers unrest among final year students. This is a story I promised I'm going to look into to bring you details. Yeah. So that's it. Reluctantly, congratulations to Arsenal fans. And let's get ready.
That when our guy, what's his name? Party left, no, then they win a car.
No, yeah, did.
No.
But anyway, let's bring you some stories on myjoyonline.com. What's the newspapers without MyJoy Online? Our top story, Mahama fully backs the OSP, government rejects secret plot claims. It's our top story. If you're interested in that, just click on it and read it. Ghana's public debt hit 675.1 billion as of February 2026. And Greatco, ACG announced maintenance across regions. On Wednesday, May 4. Yeah, you know what that means, Kojo. Maintenance there. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether your transformer has been replaced or not.
It will take out the power.
Yeah, OSP's future may depend on constitutional review. Felix Kwachifos has been speaking. So then do not tarnish your legacy. Okwapehima cautions Sophia Akufo amid installment reports. It's a story I may have to look into for you, but why not? Just click and read. Free speech cannot ignore accountability or security in digital page. Kojo Pumpuni Asante. Ghana's export earnings hits 11.1 billion on surging gold prices, and Geba calls on NCA to review FM coverage restriction directive, and Geba president. And whose photo is that, Kojo?
Abu.
Yeah. Ghana's fiscal GSA shut down. Ghana Standard Authority shut down sections of Ashama China Mall warehouse over alleged substandard products. Yeah, that'll be all for the for myjoyonline.com and for the headlines on the newspapers and on myjoyonline.com. Kojo.
Thank you very much, Emefa. I like the pose. All right, let's move on and introduce to you my guests today. Dr. Kwame Asante will be joining us via Zoom. He's a political scientist at the University of Ghana. Wanda Victor Kuto is board member, Volta River Authority, and NEC member, that's NEC member of the NDC. Good morning.
Good morning, bro.
As all is well. Your people are saying no to private sector participation.
Yeah.
What will you do?
To the extent that our oath of secrecy, I won't disclose certain things.
Okay. Once you invoke the oath of secrecy, then we have to agree. All right. I also have here Kwame O-Sudan, so you know him, as running mate to Alan Tremanti in the 2024 elections, but he's a lawyer and executive director, Land and Mines Watch, Ghana. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
How do you do?
I'm good.
You're an Arsenal fan?
Arsenal? No way. I'm a Manchester United fan.
Why did you frown your face? You hate Arsenal that much.
No be magic up in Manchester. No, Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal. I have an editor who's an Arsenal fan. Jesus Christ, what has happened? We won't rest.
For the
next 1 year.
1 year.
Hey! Anyway, so Dr. Kwame Asante is with us on Zoom. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kojo.
I hope all is well.
To my colleagues and you. I'm very well. And yourself?
I'm okay, not too okay because of Arsenal, but I'll be fine. I'll be good.
Don't worry, the gods are with you.
Anyway, okay. Now let's start from the 14 CSOs to rescue OSP. Supreme Court admits amicus curiae. Let me start with you, Dr. Asante, because when this matter came up, the CSOs indicated that they wanted to be part of this particular case at the Supreme Court. Now they've been granted. What's your expectation?
It's a good move. And remember, anything that goes on well at the court, where there's an issue within the body politic, and people decide to take it to the court and find redress, for me, they provide fertile grounds for the development of our democracy. So I am in love with it, the position of the Supreme Court and that of the CSO. I am in love with it. At the end of the day, we will know exactly what the position is. Because remember, the issue we are dealing with is, if you like a cancerous cell within our political system. That's corruption. So we are going to have a definitive position from the apex courts on this matter. And at the end of the day, it's going to provide us the focus and direction with regard to fighting this canker and making sure that we sanitize our governance space. I am in love with it. I'm just looking forward to the day that this matter will be heard and then the court will deliver on that. That's what I'm looking forward to. Very positive about that.
Expectation that the OSP will be rescued by the courts, and once we have the 14 CSOs getting in, it enhances the chance to protect the OSP.
I will not run ahead of the court.
Okay.
Let the court speak, and we will follow. And I know the court always does what is expected of them. So they will deliver judgment that will stand the test of time, and then help us to navigate this difficult terrain that has become albatross around our neck. Okay. I am hopeful, and I'm fully in support of the court and its processes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, let me come in studio, and I have two lawyers with me in studio, and Awal Mohammed, he is a member of the NPP's National Communications Directorate. Awal, good morning.
Good morning.
Trust you good?
Yes, I'm fine.
You are the non, okay, you and I are the non-lawyers here.
Yes.
So let's start with the lawyers
okay.
to deal with the matter. Let me start with you, Kwame Osudanso. Now, from where you sit, what do the 14 CSOs bring to this case?
Well, so they bring opposing views to this particular case. As has been indicated by the 14 CSOs, they do not understand why the Attorney General would appear to be in bed with the petitioner. And so in order to bring opposing clarity to the matter, they needed to join so that in the final analysis, justice would properly be served. Because, when you go to court, it's competing of ideas, competing of facts, competing of evidence. And so if there is no evidence which opposes or which is contrary to the petitioner's case, then it appears you're just it's going to be a system where more like the decision will be etched in whatever it is that the person is seeking to achieve, and that really does not help in the advancement of our jurisprudence. Okay. So I'm happy that they've joined, and I do believe that in the final analysis, whatever outcomes the court may come out with will serve the interests of the people of this country.
Okay, Lawyer Kuto, where do you stand on this? The 14 CSOs have been admitted to join the case. We know that Attorney General, who's from your party, sort of agreed with the petitioner, and that's why the 14 CSOs decided they have to be in here. Does it change the course of the case?
Certainly, yes.
Okay.
Under the common law jurisprudence, judges do not go fishing for information, all of that. They make decisions based on the evidence before them.
Yeah.
Here's the case, the Attorney General is making the same argument, more or less like the petitioner. So it's important that we get an opposing view, and this is where the CSO come in. So it's very good the CSO are in. They will make their submission before the court, so the court will have the benefit of all facts, all evidence in making their decision. I have a strong view that, yes, the OSP performs very crucial function. However, some constitutional matters has to be addressed. The matter is before the court, and it's important that we get other views, other submissions, other evidence, and this is where the CSO comes in. So I think that is good for Mother Ghana, If we want the rule of law to be strengthened, we must always allow opposing views. So I'm in for it.
Where does the principle of equity play out in this particular matter?
Oh no, like I said, the AG is right to make their view, and it's just coincidental that their view is tandem with that of the petitioner. So it's also proper that we have an opposing view, and this is where the CSO comes in. So there's nothing wrong at all. There's nothing wrong, and it's good for our democracy that we have different views. Like I said, under common law, the judges take decision based on what is before them. The judges do not go. No. It's the case before them, the facts, the evidence, the witness. That is what the judges use in coming out with their decision, because they will refer to all what is before them. So it's proper that we have these CSOs coming on board with opposing views, and this will give the court the benefit of all necessary facts in determining the matter before the court.
Okay.
Equity is fairness.
Yeah.
And equity is equality before the law. That you have a position, I have a position.
That's right.
And based on that, the judge will make a determination as to whose argument holds more water. And so, to the extent that you have, the CSOs coming into the frame and bringing to the fore issues which perhaps may not necessarily have been considered by even the AG.
Yeah.
It is important, and it helps in advancing our democracy. That's all. That's all we need. To be fair.
Yes. Thank you so much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to the lawyers in the studio, all my brothers. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Greetings from Dr. Alhaji Bawumia, the incoming president of the Republic of Ghana.
Kojo is laughing.
You'll be saying this for the next 12 years.
Are you saying this?
In 2017, you remember? When we beat you with over 1 million votes.
You will be saying this for the next 12, 16 years. Don't worry.
Okay. Yes, so I think some of us are extremely happy when we saw the CSO saying that, well, they would want to join. When it even came, initially everyone thought that the right thing to do is for the AG to go and defend that state institution. So when Noah went to court, I was one of the few people who said that he was doing the hatchet job of the Attorney General because of his history, his association with the Deputy Attorney General, where he cut his legal teeth and so on. I remember I had a banter with him on a show and told him that he was doing that work for the Attorney General. And I was really vindicated, because when I said he was doing it for Attorney General, within that period, the OSP at a point in time wanted to join. And the Deputy Attorney General in court said that, well, it's not about the individual, it's about the office, and it's the Attorney General that is clothed with a responsibility to protect every state institution. So the OSP, the court did not allow him join in that suit. Later, the Attorney General came to side with the petitioner, and everyone felt that indeed it's a calculated attempt to take off that office or stripped it with the necessary teeth that it has to bite.
But that wasn't the first time the AG was agreeing with a citizen, was it?
I'm saying that in this case, when the officer in charge of that office said, I want to defend myself, the AG says, you cannot defend yourself because we will defend you. So we're hoping that at least you said, don't defend yourself, we'll defend you. Then you go and side with the person who wants to really strip him of his powers. You get it? So clearly, the petitioner, the defendant has become really the petitioner. And that was our fear when Noah went to court. He went to court as a private citizen, but because of his association with Justice Sai, I felt that he was sent to court to go and do that job. And we were vindicated, because at least if the petitioner, if the defendant is now turned into a petitioner, it means that is that is the clear case of him going to do that job for them. Fortunately, the CSOs
how did he turn into a petitioner? Just because he sort of agreed with the stand of the petitioner?
The problem with that office is that when you look at that office, from day one, when this government, even though in their manifesto, they clearly said that they will strengthen that office. When they came to power, the first thing is that the two most important people in Parliament, the chief whip and the majority leader, wrote a private member's bill to just scrap that office. And these are the two most important people in parliament for the government and the party. Then there was a pushback from the CEOs and so on. That, hey, you want to scrap that office. Then the president came in to say that, well, don't scrap it. It's early days yet for you to call for its scrap and so on. Then later, this suit also came into being. So from all indications, the conversation has been that they are afraid of that office and they do not want that office to work. Right? So if the Attorney General tomorrow goes ahead, especially after a disagreement, you remember on the extradition process, the Attorney General called on the OSP to submit some of the documents. When he declined to submit, said that he was independent. It's one of the reasons I see that the office must stay, but the occupant of that office is incompetent, that he doesn't need to be there. You understand? Because you're supposed to work together with the Attorney General. If you look at how he even became an Attorney General, he was nominated by OSP, he was nominated by the Attorney General. Yeah. You get it? So at least you're supposed to work together. If they are looking for any information, you're supposed to submit to them and so on. Because he said he wanted to be independent, we saw that indeed this is really the route that they want to take, so that the Attorney General will just be any other officer, the OSP will just be any officer under the office of the Attorney General. So these CSOs, they have a history. You remember at a point in time when the Auditor General, we wanted it to have some teeth to buy it. They went to court and they were able to get the court passed that he could set charge. Yes, he could set charge and disallow, so that at least any finding they will be able to follow through and get us money and so on. So I don't have any doubt that these CSOs will succeed, especially when you look at the CSOs. The architect of that OSP office, and if you look at the board of the OSP, it is largely institutional representation, and you have the CSOs having their reps on the board and so on. So I'm sure they will give compelling reasons why you need that office to be there and why you need that office to do independent prosecution after they are given their the authorization from the Attorney General. Because you see, this office does not one thing. They are clothed with the responsibility to do even lifestyle audits. It is not really prosecution. It is only one leg of the work that the OSP does. That is the prosecution. But they are clothed with the responsibility to do this. They prevent corruption. They also come in to do lifestyle audit. They can really do investigation, independent investigation and so on. I was thinking that if the Attorney General is telling you that, give me the authorization to come for authorization so that you'll be able to prosecute. I don't see anything wrong with OSP going for the authorization, because after your investigation, you come out, you go to the OSP, the Attorney General asks you, decline to give you authorization and so on. You present to the public. Because per his the laws that set up that office, they're supposed to give periodic updates in every 4 months. In the 4 months, you tell the people of this country that I did this investigation up to this point, but unfortunately I cannot prosecute because the Attorney General has refused to give me prosecution, the authorization to go and prosecute. And now the lawyers are even saying that one authorization is enough for the entire operations of the OSP if they are able to give him a written authorization. Just like the Yoko, because Yoko, they don't renew. They only name the number of officers, then they are able to really do it. So why can't the Attorney General grant it if today the Attorney General is to grant that?
How can the Attorney General grant when you have not placed in the request? That's a question they ask.
He did not need that. If he is adamant and he doesn't want that, if you are really fighting corruption and you think that you have come with aura and so on, and you know that he's helping you to find corruption, support him. Give him the authorization. Today, if they give that authorization, that suit is rendered moot. Because now, give him the authorization. The man is saying that you have to go through Attorney General to get authorization. That's why he's in court. Now the Attorney General says, I've given him the authorization. He can go ahead to prosecute all the cases he wants to prosecute. The only thing is that the Attorney General has the right to file nolle prosequi in this case, in all cases that are ongoing. That is the only thing that they can do. Okay. But I believe that these CSOs have really stepped in at the right time. Okay. They will have to safeguard that office. I still maintain that OSP is not competent enough. The man in charge, the man in charge today is not competent enough to hold that office. But that office must remain so that at least we'll have a semi-independent office that will fight corruption in this country.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I just wanted to make some legal education, my brother. You see, if you're the Attorney General, you're also the Minister for Justice.
Yes.
You understand? So it is not the case that because you are defending state institution, you must always stick to the state institution, even if you think the state institution is wrong. So, for example, Awal is a public servant. If Awal is treated unfairly by the employer and he sues the state, and the Attorney General reads the fact and tells Awal is right, and the Attorney General side with Awal, it doesn't mean the AG is wrong, because the Attorney General is also the Minister for Justice. Yes. I mean, let us put politics aside and educate the public very well when it comes to this matters. So, if in this circumstance, the AG thinks that no, the case by the petitioner is sound, grounded in law, and decide to side with the petitioner, there's nothing wrong about that. And on the issue about the AG defense all institution, that is what defend all state institutions. That is the provisions of the law. In fact, not just prosecution. There are times that state institutions write to AG for advice before paying judgment debts. Yes. They write for legal opinions, advice, and stuff. So the AG plays a much more broader role. In terms of the office of the OSP, as to who government does not want to have the fight for corruption, I won't sit here and talk about it. The first OSP, the special prosecutor, described the former president as the mother serpent of all corruption.
Without any basis.
Let me land.
Yes.
You see, so as for, and we saw what happened. We saw what happened when the former special prosecutor described President Addo as the mother serpent of corruption. He was kind of intimidated, he was harassed, and eventually left office. He had to resign. So today, even in opposition, he's saying that he doesn't think that the current SP is fit for the job. He's entitled to his opinion. I must be very fair to him. He's entitled to his opinion. But the point I'm making...
That's an opinion some of your members have also shared in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's nothing wrong if members, even in our government, think that the SP is not fit. But the point I'm making is that there are some constitutional issues that have been raised. Okay. Pursuant to Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. It's here. All matters of prosecution, civil litigation relative to the state rests at the behest of the Attorney General. That is a constitutional matter. Now, Act of Parliament, when they contravene the Constitution, they are rendered null and void to the extent of its inconsistency. So if matters of law have been raised, let's address it. I'm happy Awal is talking about authorization. If it is the mere authorization that cures the mischief, we may have to explore it. And I'm happy that the matter is before the Supreme Court. You asked a simple question this morning. You said, look, the CSO joining, how does it benefit? And I agree here that it will offer us the platform to get opposing views. Because under the common law jurisprudence, judges do not go out to do investigations. No, they come out with their judgment based on the facts before them, the evidence and the witnesses all together. So if we have CSO joining this case to provide, clearly you could see that the AG has sided with the petitioner, which it has the right to do so. So the CSO joining provides a broader framework. Opposing views will be brought to bear to help judgment to be made. So just to make this clarification, that the Attorney General is also the Minister for Justice.
Just a quick one. I'm saying, when Martin Amidu said President Akufo-Addo was the mother serpent of corruption, he was never intimidated. What happened that he resigned as Attorney General, as OSP, was that he was given the opportunity to do corruption risk assessment on Ajapa. And he told the government not to go ahead to implement the Ajapa. And the government declined. So even the corruption risk assessment by Martin Amidu was accepted by the government, and we didn't proceed. The president said, go then send the document back to Parliament. Then he resigned. So
that
was what happened. That was what happened.
Why did he describe the...
But that, you know him, when he said some rented press, NBC rented press, were used against him to shield gargantuan crimes against the state. You remember those words? So for him, we know how he played with words and so on. So if really those days, he could say that there were some rented press within the NDC who are used to cover gargantuan crimes because he wanted to use Betty Mode Idrisu as a prosecution witness in the Woyomi case. That is one. Two is that there is no ambiguity whether Article 88 gives the authorization to the gives the sole prosecutorial powers to the Attorney General. And even when they were making the law, if you look at Section 4(2) of the OSP Act, it is clearly stipulated that the OSP will have to take authorization. That's the reason we're saying that no one shouldn't have even gone to court at all, because in the OSP Act, it is clearly stipulated. Section 4(2) of the OSP Act is saying that the OSP will have to go and seek authorization from the Attorney General. That's all.
Okay.
Look,
all right. Thank you very much.
I know we have
spent
some. You see, but the point that we have to establish is that we need to understand the core functions of the OSP. All right, to fight corruption and corruption-related matters.
Yes.
And so, in my view, and I've held this view since this matter came up, my view is very simple: that if the office was intended to fight corruption and corruption-related matters, then so be it. You see, I disagree with the position that people hold that it needs authorization from the AG. The idea for setting up the office of the special prosecutor was so that it would be insulated from state institutions to act as an independent office that will hold public officers accountable for their stewardship. And so if you are saying that that authorization must be gleaned or gotten from the AG, then invariably you are saying that the OSP is under the subjugation, if you like, of the Attorney General. So you take out the independence of it. Now, it is very instructive. Why did the office of the special prosecutor even come up? Why did we have conversations? Why did we pass the act? We passed the act because corruption was on the ballot around that time. And the promise was made. That promise, which was made to the good people of Ghana, was ostensibly to deal with the issue of corruption. Now, in the estimation of the government at the time, we could not have effectively dealt with corruption the way we were dealing with corruption, because the AG will enter nullity prosecutor, has all manner of powers, enter nullity prosecutor, enter withdrawal, etc. And so we did not see the full ends of justice. So then let's set up an office. That office will be insulated. And that is why I'm saying that I believe and I still believe that in the minds of the framers of the act, they intended for that office to be independent. So this conversation about authorization for me is neither here nor there.
So for you, do you then agree with people who say that what we have to do is to amend that provision in the Constitution that all prosecutions concerning the state rest with the AG to then allow the
all prosecutions. But in this particular case, it is not all prosecutions, it's about specific acts of violations of the law, which is corruption and corruption-related matters. Simple as it.
I get you.
So if we are dealing with matters of corruption and corruption-related matters, albeit that the AG has the power to prosecute, the office of the special prosecutor must also have the power to prosecute.
How then do we deal with the provision in the Act itself, the Act that's set up the SOSP, that it has to get authorization? How do we get that?
That is why I'm saying if you read the memorandum accompanying the Act, it is there. That even this matter was raised in Parliament. Indeed, the current Attorney General raised that issue in Parliament because they all envisaged, or rather envisioned, that there was going to be an issue in relation to the performance of the duty of the special prosecutor because of the bottleneck of Article 88. But I'm saying that they found a way of circumventing it. Yes, you cannot touch an entrenched provision in the Constitution. But you see, Constitution, one of the attributes of Constitution is that it's a living organism. It grows, capable of growth. So if we have identified social nemesis, and we are saying that we are creating an office that will handle that social nemesis, why then do we create a bottleneck, for that office to function? When we do that, then it means that we are saying that the OSP must be under the supervision of the Attorney General. And that is what we are seeking to avoid.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you have some concluding remarks on this before we make progress.
Yes, I have something to put in. If you listen to the conversation, there are two questions that confront Ghanaians. Legal question and what political question. The legal question is the authorization issue. And here, my colleagues in the studio have adequately dealt with the issue. You see divergent views there. And that is why the Supreme Court has come in here, given the writ that has been filed. So we are going to have an answer to the legal question. That is why, it gladdens my heart. The political question that is left for everybody is that are the political actors, i.e. the political parties, ready to fight corruption? That question continues to remain unanswered.
Okay.
If you look at the positions of majority leader and his chief whip against other people on the same political plane with holding different views, it gives me an inkling that, hey, maybe we are not ready to fight corruption. Because if we are, the Constitution was made by man.
Yes.
And if there's a problem, we can use the same human beings to amend the Constitution to, as it were, create that enabling environment for the office to work and work effectively.
Absolutely.
But if we are not ready to fight it, yes, you can go through all the legal processes, but at the end of the day, it will come to politics. Are we ready to fight corruption? For me, that's the question that I want to hear from the political actors. And it should not be just verbal. They must demonstrate to us that they are ready to fight corruption.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Let's make progress and bring in the NPP petitioning diplomatic corps. And they lament sponsored political arrest. And, the argument is that it looks like the government is preventing divergent views. Well, I mean, if you have issues with Abronya DC not being given bail, why not use the same legal process to deal with your issue, but now you invite foreigners into a domestic issue that we have the ability to handle?
Okay. So you remember after his arrest, at the press conference, we mentioned that we will embark on a series of activities. And as part of it, we will petition the diplomatic community for them to understand what is really happening. Okay. Looking at the trajectory and looking at a number of people who have been arrested just because of something that they have said or they have shared on social media, and looking at how that law has been abused within this particular period. I always reference Samson Ladi Ayenini, one of your editors here, who is also a lawyer. He said in his practice as a journalist and as a lawyer, he has seen the law has been abused 10 times what happened in the entire 8 years of the Akufo-Addo administration. And when you check the number of people who have been arrested because of free speech, it is almost as though every month one person is arrested since this government came to power. 16 people in about 15 months. You get it. So clearly it tells you that the government is trying to cow us to submission. The government is trying to just suppress opposing views. If you look at those who were arrested and the circumstances of the arrest and so on, are you not surprised that we have police in Sunyani, we have police in Aguna-Swedro, and we have every court in Sunyani, we have every court in Kumasi, we have every court in Aguna-Swedro. But someone is arrested, someone commits a crime in Sunyani, sat in Sunyani, wrote something on Facebook, and you think he had committed a crime. Sunyani police invites him, he gets there, then they say he's supposed to come to Accra. He comes to Accra headquarters, they send him straight to BNI cells. From there, straight to Adenta Court. Someone commits a crime in Kumasi, Brago and Priscilla. You said they have sat on TikTok to make some unsavory comments. You pick them from Kumasi, straight to Accra. They spent 20 days in custody. Someone posted a picture of people using holding guns. You go to his house, ransack the house, brought him to police headquarters. He spent 5 days. And you see, we are not saying that if someone commits a crime, the person should not be arrested. But the manner of arrest and the kind of things that the people said, compared to what happened under Akufo-Addo, and people went scot-free. When this country, when a section of Akufo-Addo's family were called Sakawa, nothing happened. There was a demonstration in this country when people, big men, said, Kumnana domaya, Radi Kumnana domaya. Nothing happened. In fact, in 2025, Listowel Nanapoku, who is an NDC man, sat on CTV and accused the sitting IGP of killing people at Botiano. When Adam Bona was appointed as CEO for small arms
commission,
he sat on the same medium and said, President Mahama wants to destroy this country by appointing such a person. He said he is the one who supplies guns to people in Boku for them to kill themselves. Listo Nanopok was never invited by any police. But Abronye said that the IGP is corrupt. He was arrested, put in Black Maria. Over 200 police officers, I was in court that day, over 200 police officers were there just because he said the IGP was corrupt. And the judge used Idi Amin and Animal Farm to remand Abronye. The same judge had previously remanded 2 people. Achimkwa of Wuntumi was arrested in Kumasi, brought to Accra and was sent to the same court. The same judge had remanded 3 of our people. He went on retirement. President Mahama had called him from retirement and is now serving as a high court judge. So do I think that if I appear before that judge, I'll get justice?
It's about the law. It's not about...
The judge who said we are not equal before the law, who says something which is in contravention with our Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, just because he wants to put someone into remand. The judge who, after bringing anyone, because he's NPP, he sends him to remand for 2 weeks. And after that, the same judge who was chastised by every Ghanaian has been recalled back and is serving as the High Court. And it is really interesting that almost all those who were arrested from everywhere in this country were sent to only 2 courts, the Court 9 and the Adenta Court. Why is that so? That's why I am asking that in Kumasi, the receiving court of appeal in Kumasi, where you can do everything in Kumasi, but people were arrested, about 4 people were arrested from Kumasi and brought to Accra. And they spent days in police custody. Some were not even sent to court. For instance, Sayobama, he was not even sent to court. It was the police custody that they sent him. And they give onerous bail conditions. What did Abronye say? That is so different from the commentaries that were run in this country. That you are not a judge, you are a political judge, you have put something on your head like a sack and so on. I don't endorse incendiary comment, whatever form or shape. But where we have gotten to as a country, why must someone be held like a criminal because of free speech?
But you know it is law that a judge can deny bail if he feels that the accused would commit another offense when granted the bail.
Or similar offense.
Look at how he was even sent to that court. He scandalized, we're told that he has scandalized the Adenta Court. The Adenta Court, he's billed to appear before the same judge at Adenta. So he scandalized the same judge. When you could really leave him, for him to face him, for him to even get contempt, right? He could really charge him for contempt because he had scandalized him. The police said no. The police went ahead to arrest him. When you check the charge sheet, it is the police that is a complainant, not the Adenta Court. When he is supposed to appear before the same Adenta Court. But the police go ahead to arrest him. After the arrest, they sent him to another court, and the judge is saying that I think he will commit another offense of speech, not necessarily go to kill someone or do something. And in this country today, even if you kill anyone, you can still be granted bail. But someone, you are preempting that you go and commit what you think is a crime, because Abronye, for all you know, has never been convicted of any of these crimes. None of the crimes.
Okay.
So when you say that is, because I remember at a point in time in my career, I was a court reporter for Ghana News Agency. I did that for like 2 years or 3 years in the court. It is when they are passing judgment that they will ask the prosecution, is the person known? When the prosecution says the person is known, especially if the person has been previously convicted, then they can give a hefty conviction so that the person might not commit that crime again. This is someone who has never committed that crime, because nobody is guilty until proven guilty by a competent court of jurisdiction. And Abronye has never been convicted of any of such crimes.
But the law doesn't say a convicted person. It says if the judge believes the accused has a chance of committing another crime or same crime, you can.
So you believe that you should keep him there until the determination of the case?
No, I'm only asking that.
That's what I'm saying. But you see, the judge is saying that if I leave him, he will go and commit such crime again. It means the judge has taken sides.
Okay, all right.
Because now you want to keep him even if it is 1 year. Okay. When Adenta Kumi was arrested last year, what has come of the case? And again, when you look at almost all those who were arrested last year, the police and the prosecution are not interested in all these cases. It means it is really the executives that is using them to do the hatchet job and silence opposing views. Okay. And at this point in time, we will never be silenced. That's the reason we have petitioned the diplomatic community. There are a series of activities, including demonstrations in this country, to show that indeed, in the past, you had a certain Kelvin Taylor who sat on a platform to scandalize a court. An arrest warrant was issued for his arrest. He was put on stop list at Kotoka International Airport. He got to Kotoka, he used the VVIP lounge, went and slept at the vice president's residence. In the morning, went to court for that thing to be overturned in this country. The man has insulted virtually everyone. But those who are attacking Abronye today are the friends of Kelvin Taylor.
Okay. How? Thank you very much. Let me bring in Kojo. Kojo, doesn't he have a point when he says, well, the guy has not been convicted. Why don't you allow him to go and probably fall in his own sword, but you keep him in BNI detention?
Thank you very much. You see, I will start by saying that we politicians, we are not above the law. We are not. We are not superhumans. We are not immune from punishment when we go wrong. This point has to be made very, very, very clear. What does Section 76 of Act 775 says? You know, NPP...
No, but by your statement, are you saying you're using bail as a punishment?
No, I'm saying we are not superhuman. So if the law says that, if the law prescribes circumstances under which you not, your bail application will be refused. So if the law applies to you, because, should we say because you're a politician, you should be granted bail? No. If you want us to go through the law, we will. Act 30 is here. Section 96 plus 1C. It gives the grounds. It says that the amount and conditions of bail shall be fixed with due regard to the conduct of case and shall not be excessive or harsh. A court shall not withhold or withdraw bail merely as a punishment. Then 5, it says a court, this is the relevant portion, a court shall refuse to grant bail if it is certified that the defendant, A, may not appear to stand trial. So it's not even a matter of conviction. Even if there is that suspicion that you will not appear to stand trial, it's a ground to actually refuse to bail.
And in this case, Abronye went to court. He walked to the court.
You were talking about conviction.
No, I'm only giving you
I'm reading the law. I'm reading the law. The law is the law. So 5, at Section 96, 5B, it says that may interfere with a witness or the evidence or in any way hamper police investigation, or this is where the police prosecution relied on. C, may commit a further offense when on bail. You know, the prosecution case was that, look, Abronye was admitted to bail and committed similar offense. So if granted bail, there's the likelihood that he will commit similar or further offenses. You see, this is the law. And I'm saying that we politicians, we are not above the law. I'll give you instances. I will cite instances. I don't believe in the politics of equalization. But at least the NPP, if they won't be truthful, at least they should be consistent. You see, this Electronic Communications Act was passed by the NPP in 2008. Act 775. In fact, let me read a post by their national organizer, Henry Nana Boachi, on Facebook, January 10th, 2022. Thompson of Asempa must be arrested immediately. Fake news is punishable under Ghanaian law. Yes. He said it does appear that Mr. Thompson from Asempa has the penchant of Asempa of spewing outright lies and false allegations, ostensibly to incite the public and endanger lives. He persists in doing that. He moves on. That he says on this current issue, he must be subjected to the full rigors of the law to deter him from hiding behind social media to create confusion in the system. That's Nanabi speaking. We can't look on for him to always peddle brazen and wicked falsehood and later turn away to say, I am sorry, I apologize for peddling falsehood. There are laws in this country and he must face it squarely. He must be arrested immediately. That's the NPP National Organizer. And he refers to Section 76 of the Electronic Communications Act, 2008 Act 775, passed under their regime. I'm happy that Awal today admits.
I've seen some of them ask, was that Thompson picked up by the police?
Awal admits that the comments, the utterances by Abronye was wrong. Look, did you hear what he said? He said that, look, the judge is a politician and had used sack to cover his face. When in this country we have judges who, as a matter of fact, were politicians before moving to the bench. And there's Joe who sits at the Supreme Court. Look, I respect his professional knowledge and stuff. But this is a politician, as a matter of fact, it's not perception. In 2012, he contested the whole West parliamentary seat, lost. In 2016, contested the whole Central parliamentary seat on the ticket of the NPP and lost. This is a politician, as a matter of fact. It's not perception. This judge Abronya is describing as somebody who is a politician. There's no evidence of his political participation. But we have a judge who sits on our apex court, who is actually a politician. In fact,
or have his rulings been influenced by his political leanings?
Politics, perception matters. You remember the vacant seat saga? The vacant seat saga. It was virtually a political case about seats being declared vacant, NDC, NPP and stuff. But he sat on the matter.
He didn't sit alone.
Oh, a while. An objection was raised about him. You understand? But even at that, nobody described him in the manner in which Abronye is doing. That's the point I'm making. That you have a judge who sits at the Supreme Court who was only denied parliament by his own people on the ticket of the NPP. If he had won the election in 2012, he probably wouldn't have gone to High Court, then subsequently to the Supreme Court. Yet the NDC never described him as a politician, as somebody who is not a professional or just use a sack to cover his face. And you want us to tolerate this? In fact, I didn't understand why Abronye kept behaving in the manner in which he behaves until I read the petition yesterday. I said, this guy knows that his party will definitely be behind him no matter what he does. We must be serious in this country. And look, yes, there's freedom of speech per the Constitution, but there are constitutional limits. Article 164, you see, it imposes restraint. Grounds, circumstances under which a person's, let me read for you, the circumstances under which your freedom of speech will be limited. It says, the provisions of Article 162 and 163 of this Constitution are subject to laws that are reasonably required in the interest of national security, public order, public morality, and for the purpose of protecting the reputations, rights, and freedom of other persons. Clearly, it means that there's a balancing act that is needed. Yes, you have the right, freedom to speech, but you must also, in the exercise of those rights, not infringe on the right of others, not to malign people. So these are very important. But look at all of it.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question. Once it's about Abronye's comment that has landed him where he is, does it also matter comment by judges in the courtroom? Because the NPP is saying that in the courtroom, the judge said Abronye must be kept in detention for the entire duration of the case.
That is not accurate. I'll prove to you that it's not accurate. By the ruling of the court, let me read to you. Yes. The ruling of the court.
Yes.
It says that
the argument is that the ruling changes.
This is joint news. Let's speak to fact. Let me read the ruling.
After 6 days.
Oh, hold on.
After 6 days, right?
Hold on. Let me give you the ruling of the court.
No, the last paragraph. We know the ruling.
No, the last paragraph. It says that this is by the court. That when I say by the court, I'm talking about the judge. It says the prosecution is also ordered to conclude their work and file disclosures within 40 days to ensure speedy trial.
Within 40 days?
14. Okay. Not 14. 14. To ensure speedy trial of this matter. The case is adjourned to 27th May 2026. It tells you that the judge is interested in the quickness of...
You have not answered my question. My question is... Yes. It is based on comment of Abronye that has landed him where he is.
Yes.
The NPP is also raising questions with the comment of the judge. You heard Awal mention the judge. And they said in the courtroom, the judge said Abronye must be kept in detention for the entirety of the case. But in the written judgment, he has changed this, and that's what Awal is referring to the 6th. I'm saying that if it's about comment, are they also right to pick on the comment of the judge if the judge indeed passed in court that he has to be kept in detention for them?
Exactly, it's the ruling. I mean, those comments, Obita, what matters is the ruling. That is what is before us. That is what goes into the law report. I'm telling you that per the ruling of the judge.
You're not getting my question. I know that the ruling is what matters, but I'm saying that it's based on comment that has landed the guy somewhere. The NPP is speaking on comments that the judge passed. Are they also valid to pick on that?
I don't want to accept that. Is that one? We've not heard. Okay. The judge says so.
Okay.
You are relying on what the NPP are reporting. Okay. The court have said. But as a lawyer, I'm going to rely on the ruling by the judge. That is what matters. Okay. And I'm telling you that the judge is pushing for a speedy trial in favor of Abronye. Okay. He wants the case to move quickly. So it's not the case that the judge wants to detain Abronye and all of that. But what I'm saying is that we politicians, we are not above the law. Okay. I want to try to create, give scenarios and all of that. Let me point out the hypocrisy of the NPP in this country. If you're holding placards alone, people were criminalized. Which ones? The pharmacist, UGMC, when he held the placard, he was arrested.
Which pharmacist?
Yes, Reginald. He was arrested. You understand?
And what was his bail condition?
He was
arrested and he left the same time.
Within an hour or two. No, let him have a sign.
Look,
go on.
Today you are talking about bail condition. Delta Force and the NPP. These macho guys storm courts.
They were convicted.
Yes. No, allow him.
I'm just pointing out the kind of double standard. Bongo ideas was picked up by national security personnel in this country.
Was it proven that it was by national security personnel?
But by who?
No, was it proven? Because I never heard about whether it came out that it was national security personnel.
Operative, yes. Essentially, yes. Look, the democracy hub. Do you remember the Galamsey protests? What happened? The Attorney General actually was in court to oppose bail. These are not even politicians. They are not politicians. Well-meaning Ghanaians concerned about the state of our rivers were demonstrating, exercising their civic rights to protest. The Attorney General under the NPP was in court to oppose bail. And I read a statement by Dr. Baume. I was shocked. As head of the police council, his attorney general was in court opposing bail of people who were protesting, demonstrating just to secure our river. And today,
but if you say as head of police council, he is attorney general. There's no correlation there. The attorney general does not work under the head of the police. So you could say as vice president, his AG was.
No, I want you to see a larger picture. Because the NPP are saying that today the police are doing their work. It's President Mahama that is pushing them. And that's the argument of the NPP essentially within the press. That if the police today are doing their rightful job, it means that the NDC government, led by President Mahama, is what is pushing them. That is the narrative out there. But this is not the case. And this cannot be the case. If we politicians, we think that we are above the law, then we should stop passing these laws. I just referred to you Act 775. It was passed by the NPP, saying that if you electronically transmit false news, it's a crime. It was passed by the NPP in 2008. Today, same law, similar laws are being used against persons who have committed those offenses which he admits here. And they are saying what? So we shouldn't implement the law? The police should stop working? If that is the case of the NPP, they should tell us. But I have no doubt that they just want to keep their grassroots busy.
Okay.
The NPP, you see, he's saying that they will do demonstration. You know where to amend laws. You don't amend laws when you meet diplomatic community. That's not where the Ghanaian laws are amended. We're not calling
for any amendment or any law.
But it's the law that is catching up with you guys. So you are just saying that
we're talking about arbitrary arrest. That's all.
And the onerous. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me bring you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
The argument people are putting on this, out there is how different is this from the utterances by Kevin Taylor in the past?
I don't even
was giving the sort of protection he had.
I think when I'm done with my submission, you can draw your own conclusions. Okay. It is important because you see the political banter that is happening here, or partisan political banter that is happening. We need to look at it from a constitutional democracy perspective. All right, in every constitutional democracy, the expectation is that sovereignty, which rests with the people, gives them that power to delegate some small portion of the power to people that we elect into office, okay? And we reserve or retain the greater part of that power to ensure accountability. And how do we ensure accountability? You ensure accountability through the expression of views, opinions. You can even express opinions in a manner that appears to be a mockery. You can disdainfully, if you like, even express opinions if your view is that the person that you put into office is acting in ways which are variance with the power that you have given to them to operate. So that fact must be established. Now, it is important that without that, there is no accountability. Without that, without the ability for the citizenry to express their views freely, and sometimes in a very disrespectful manner or uncomfortable manner, we would not have proper democratic principles at play. Now, to that end, in Ghana, in respecting or in ensuring that the citizens retain that right, we decided to put that in our constitution. So Article 21(1)(a) is clear, and it defines what freedom of expression is. Now, if you permit me, I'll read it. Freedom of expression is the fundamental human right to express opinions, ideas, and beliefs publicly without fear of government censorship, retaliation, or punishment. So then you ask yourself, what are the components of it? The ability to express your opinion without fear of government censorship, retaliation, or punishment. Now, it is instructive to point out, therefore, that all of these things that we are talking about stems from history. And if you want to look at how freedom of expression has developed over the years and the relevancy of that in today's politics, it's important to trace it back to the antecedents of it. Now, in 1919, after the First World War, there was the need to maintain some sanity. So they passed what we call the clear and danger test, which was born out of a case between Schenck and the United States of America. Now the description of it was clear and danger. So they prevented people from expressing themselves if in their view there was clear and danger attached to the statements which have been made by people. Fast forward, they noticed that was actually an inhibition of people to freely demonstrate, freely express themselves or their opinions, and freely question government and put the feet of government to the fire of responsibility. So what did they do? In 1939, there was another case, Brandenburg and Ohio, which now decided to shift from the initial clear and danger test to the imminent lawless action standard. So if you made a statement which, imminently could pose danger or threat, or that somebody can immediately be hurt or harmed by reason of your statement, then that would amount to you not abiding by the principles of freedom of expression. Now, I'm giving you this backdrop so that we do a juxtaposition between statements which have been made by political actors and players and whether or not they meet the text, the current text, which is in operation. Now, in Ghana, what appears to be symptomatic of the text, the current text, the text which was born out of the case of the Brandenburg in Ohio, is what is contained in sections 207 and 208 of Act 30. Now, that in itself demonstrates that if you express yourself in a manner that carries falsity in your statement and you publish same without justification, without verification, then there's the potency that you are violating the fundamental right which has been given to you by the Constitution. Okay. Then you move to 208. 208 largely has to even do with government. So that if you make any statement which offends the government, which appears to cast a slur on the government, then you have violated the fundamental freedoms which has been given to you. So then that's it. So let's get it right. We have to move beyond the rhetorics into the arena of marrying the constitutional fundamental right which has been given to people, as opposed, vis-a-vis the, if you like, the colonial residue of laws which is contained in our laws in an attempt to prevent people from expressing themselves. Now, it is not for nothing that the criminal libel law was done away with. But it appears that we found a way through sections 207 and 208 of leaving some laws which will prevent people from freely expressing themselves. I am of the firm conviction that to the extent that statements which were made, that which statements did not lead to mob attacking anybody, or that there was no fear and panic, or that nobody was harmed in that process, or through the expression of the opinions, nobody was harmed. That cannot reasonably amount to a violation of the fundamental human rights. You see, my learned colleague here makes reference to Article 162, 163 of the Constitution, and then goes to 164, which is in direct rebuttal, if you like, to the freedoms which have been expressed in 162, because 162, 163 is more about media, and what media, the extent to which media can go. 164 makes room for the media to be guided, in the if you like, proliferation of news or whatever it is. But when you read Article 21, you go to Article 21, the heading is what? It's general fundamental human rights. So that is a separate right which has been bestowed on people or the citizenry, in respect of our democratic experiment. So on the basis of that, you cannot reasonably expect people to make statements you would find convenient. People would make very unpalatable statements. People would make statements which may even bruise your ego. But it does not necessarily mean that statement, to the extent that it's not created any fear and panic, to the extent that nobody has been physically harmed, that statement cannot reasonably be said to have violated fundamental human rights, for which reason we must send the state apparatus on people. I want to quickly state that, look, where we are now as a nation, we need divergent opinions. We need to build one unified Ghana. People will not agree with you all the time, Kojo. People have different views. People have ways of expressing themselves. You may express yourself in a very respectful, decorous manner. Others may decide to express themselves in a different manner. So to the extent that somebody can freely demonstrate that, you should not, on the basis of your disapproval of the kind of statements used, or the kind of words rather used, go after the person. Now let me say this. Article 21(1) is an entrenched provision of the Constitution. Sections 207 and 208 are subservient to the general fundamental human right provision of Article 211A. To that extent, I want to say that the lawyers must rather base the arguments on 211A, because that is an enshrined provision in the Constitution. So you cannot say that by saying that somebody has violated or offended the law in relation to sections 207 and 208, that person must be subjected to the rigors of the law. Because that would mean that you are also undermining an entrenched fundamental provision in the Constitution. That's why I gave you the historical antecedent. Now, the world over, look, you go to the United States of America, all these Western democracies, it is clear, it is palpable, it is trite that people make or advance statements which are most often unpalatable to the leaders of that country, of those countries. But I have not seen or have not heard that people have been prosecuted because they merely expressed an opinion. Whatever Abronya said, and by the way, look, whatever Abronya said, Kojo, was it not an opinion?
It was an opinion.
Was it not his view, how he views things? So, are we saying that we cannot express ourselves? When we demonstrated in the previous administration in relation to how elections were being conducted, I was part of our demonstration. Were we not expressing or demonstrating our displeasure about how government was acting? Were we not at liberty to express same? So what are we talking about? In the final analysis, Kojo, all that ought to be done is to ensure the protection of our democracy. A democracy can best be protected if people deal with matters not from the lenses of extreme partisan, narration, but from the perspective of advancing or protecting the principles of democracy. For me, that is important. And let me come to the bill conditions. I have often reiterated, and I'm ending on that. Yeah. I have often reiterated, and let me regurgitate, that the way we are going about bail in this country is quite upsetting. Because it appears that the constitutional provision of Article 14 is being deliberately violated. Because people are free or presumed innocent until proven otherwise. And nobody can sit here and presume that somebody is guilty. It takes a competent court of jurisdiction to be able to make that determination. Not just every court, a competent court of jurisdiction to make that determination. Now, in respect of all of these matters which have sprung up, right from Edubwahi to Hanan, to all these people who are alleged to have committed offenses, it appears we are passing judgment before the real judgment, and we are using bail as if you like, as a tool of preventing people from enjoying their fundamental human rights. Constitution is clear. If you read Article 14.1, protection of personal liberty. If you read Article 19, fair trial. If you read all of these provisions in the Constitution, it is intended to safeguard the rights and freedoms of people. Now, I've indicated that the exercise of discretion must be done in accordance with Article 2.9, I believe 6 of the Constitution. That when you are exercising discretion, you must not exercise it arbitrarily. Okay. You must not exercise discretion in a manner that does not find expression in law. Okay. So I'm saying that these bail conditions that we are so for instance, a judge can simply say that. A judge can simply say, Kojo, that, oh, yes, you've been granted bail, but you have to go and bring $200 million. Because even the discretion itself is not defined. What is reasonable is not defined. What is arbitrary? It's not defined. So we need to be very careful because we are breeding a dangerous dragon and we know what dragons do.
Okay. I'm going to let me bring in Dr. Kwame Asante. Doc, what's your own viewpoint of this whole issue of the NPP petitioning the diplomatic corps because they feel that the government is using state agencies to intimidate them and preventing them from, giving out their divergent views on issues?
Thank you. And before I answer that, let me also do a few things, and then I'll get to that conclusion.
Okay.
All that is going on as a political scientist watching the political space, all that I see is that all effort is to strengthen the frontiers of our democracy, and I'm in love with that. But the approach is what has always created problem for us. Let us look at democracy. Democracy hinges on rule of law. Without law, democracy cannot survive anywhere. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are. If you are not operating democracy using rule of law, forget it. It's a sorry story. One aspect of also democratic life is language, where we use language to communicate ideas, opinions, and what have you. Democracy, these are some of the tools that allow democracy to work. But because language or free speech is not absolute, language is always guided by law. There is a limit. Because if you go to the Latin word of freedom, liber is what? That is freedom, but freedom is always not absolute because it endangers the life of that individual who want to exercise what? Absolute freedom. So there is always what? A limitation. And law, I'm not a lawyer, but the lawyers will bear me out. And the essence of every law is to regulate the conduct of the people, right? So whenever there is a behavior, then a law comes in to what? Define the contours of that behavior, because we know that as individuals, we have the tendency to come up with certain behavior that will be at variance with what? Our social norms, practices, and all that. So we bring a law to regulate people's conduct, all right? If you look at it from that perspective, you realize that all this conversation is about the law, Act 775, and how it is being used. That law, I'm not sure is a bad law that was developed. It was developed to regulate a certain conduct within the political space so that we can ensure stability, we can ensure what? Protection of our constitution and all that. But if you listen to the political actors and you listen to the happenings, the goings on from all that we have had in the Fourth Republic, it's fair to say that then we have to take a second look of the law. Because the law, maybe there is an avenue that people can what? Exploit, and then it will undermine the fundamental freedoms of people. And if you look at all the conversation from different political what actors, you realize that yeah, there is a certain level of what concern people have expressed about the way the laws are what being implemented. That said, then for me as a student of politics, then the state has a responsibility. Our responsibility is that let us amend the law. If we think that the law can be abused, the law can be used without a just cause, let us amend. Because we make them to regulate the conduct of people. But if the law can be what? Abused, then why not? We need to what? Look at that and look at that carefully. If you look at what I have always said, that yes, criticisms are the oil that grease the wheels of governance. Without it, every governance will grind to what? A halt. But the criticisms must be situated in the law, all right? Otherwise, it becomes far away from what? Any democratic enterprise. And so if you criticize, if you make statement, we are doing that in mind that there is a law that regulates our speech, that regulates our conduct and all that. The lawyers will tell you that if you are even criticizing, your language must be measured and tempered and all that. They are pointing you to the frontiers of the law. So that is what I have observed. And then one thing I've observed is that, look, if you see insult, attacks within the political space, my understanding is that then there's a lack of what? Arguments. Because if you have arguments, there's no point of insult. If you have argument, there's no point of attack. Bring your argument. Look at today. The table, on the table in the studio and here, you see lovely argument without insulting that attack. For me, that is what it ought to be. And then coming back to your last point, that is it right that the NPP will petition the U.S. Embassy and all that? You see, the exercise that they took yesterday was firmly rooted in politics and in law. They have a right to petition any political actor, whether within or outside, provided it will serve their cause, all right? There's nothing wrong. It falls under public opinion that one of the means by which you can express public opinion is through protest, demonstration, and all that. But remember, all these things are guided by law. Okay. So once they protest, I mean, they send message there and all that, there's nothing wrong. They have not breached anything for me. That is my understanding. All right. But you always want to find out whether that will serve your interests. And for me, remember that they are dealing with lawyers, they know what they are doing. While they are pursuing the legal interest, at the same time, they are looking at the politics of it. Remember, these institutions are also here, the embassies and watching the goings on within the political space. And some of these things find expression in our human rights report and all that. So they know what they are doing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But as to whether it will serve their interest, it's just a matter of time. But my emphasis is that if the law is problematic, we should get the courage to amend or repeal. And that will sanitize the system, because human beings, right, we are not perfect. We will come out and breach the law. We will abuse. But if we think that there is a temptation, there's the tendency and all that, then the law must be looked at again. For me, that's my submission.
Thank you very much.
Kojo.
I'm grateful to you. We've had a beautiful discussion on this.
Kojo,
I really wanted us to deal with the rent control.
2 minutes.
We have just 5 minutes.
Just 2 minutes. I'll be happy.
That means we can't touch on the rent control.
Yes,
I'm also interested in the rent control.
But just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes.
No,
so
I can
that
give you 2.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Abronye is not a flight risk. Abronye walked to the court, and Abronye does not have any history of jumping bail. He even was sick some time ago, like 2 weeks ago. He had to go outside the country and come back because of the court cases. So he had never jumped bail. Again, the judge waited after 6 days before the ruling came out. Even the animal farm judge, the ruling came that day. That is why even yesterday, the majority leader said that. Why is he keeping the ruling? Is he amending it to suit the discourse and so on? And that is what he did. That's what we believe he did. Because you see, in the course, he said that even in the ruling, when you check the ruling, he's saying that he denied him bail just because he feels that he will come and commit another offense again. What shows that after 14th too, he will not keep him there again. After the 14 days, he will still keep him there because it's in tandem with what Afenyo Martin said, that the judge is saying that he is denying him bail. It's even in the ruling because if he is to come out, he will still commit further offenses. It means he's keeping him there until the duration of the entire case, and that is dangerous and problematic because of free speech. Again, when he mentioned Delta Force, they went through court, the Attorney General prosecuted them and they were convicted, 13 of them. So there's nothing wrong with that. Again, we are going to court today, a higher court, to really set aside that ruling. Today, this morning, the lawyers are preparing to go to the High Court so that they set aside that ruling so that Abronye can come and have his freedom. All that we're saying is that this government in the last 1 year, 6 months, has been using the state security apparatus to cow our people, to really silence the opposing views. And that is dangerous for our democracy. That's all.
Let me give you a minute too.
Yeah. So mine is just a point on the law. You see, I don't want to believe that my brother, my learned colleague, is saying that Article 21 is absolute. I don't want to believe that. The right, the freedom of speech is not absolute. He made mention.
Entrenched provision. Is that what you saying?
That's what I said.
No, he said he mentioned Articles 164.
I did that in juxtaposition.
Yes, to Article 164
with Act 30. That's what I said.
No, you first mentioned Article 164 and said Article 164 only referred to 162, 163. Yes. And I'm making a point. I'm making a point that Article 21 is not absolute. If you believe that, fair enough. And I'll give you reasons why.
Not entrenched.
No, when you say a law is not absolute, it doesn't mean whether it's entrenched or not entrenched. What I'm saying that there are limitations.
What I heard him say was
that entrenched provision, and therefore must be.
So you agree that Article 21, our freedom of speech,
but your reference to Article 164, I believe, is not in response to the freedoms enshrined in Article 21.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because you see, that's why I mentioned 162, 163, and 164. 162 and 163 has to do with media. Okay, and that is why when you go there, you read the case of the Independent Broadcasting Broadcasting Association. So when they wanted to censor even the things that
Article 21 include freedom of press and other media in Article 21.
Read it.
Let me read it for you.
21(1)(a).
Yes, let me read it for you. All persons shall have the right to A, freedom of speech and expression, which shall include freedom of the press and other media.
Yes. That's why you're suppressing today.
And I'm saying that, I'm saying Article 21 is not absolute. It comes with responsibility. It comes with limitation. In fact, it was settled in NPP versus IGP. The Supreme Court said that yes, we have freedoms and all of that, but the court may impose limitation in the interest of public peace and public order. So that is what I'm saying. So if you agree, that's okay. That's okay. Now on the issue of Abonye, that's okay. If you're on the same page, that's okay. Now on the issue of Abonye, the NPP must caution Abonye.
Why must we caution him?
The issue is not about whether it's being flight to
why must we caution him?
My time is up.
Why must we caution him?
Allow me to do red control.
The judge accounted the argument of the prosecution.
I'm grateful to you. Thank you very much.
That he will commit similar offenses.
That's prejudicial. That is prejudicial.
That is the law.
That's prejudicial. The judge is not supposed to do that.
That is the law.
Thank you, Kojo. I'm grateful.
I mean, that's what the judge can do.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm grateful, gentlemen. Dr. Kwame Asante is a political scientist at the University of Ghana, Doc. I'm grateful that you could find time to join us today. Do enjoy the rest of your day, sir. Wanda Victor Kuto Esquire is board member of the Volta River Authority and a communications team member of the NDC. Kwame Owusu Danso Esquire, you know him for being the running mate to Alan Chamanti in the 2024 elections.
Maybe God wants me to be the flag bearer.
I'm prepared to 2024.
I think he's no longer.
He's lawyer and executive director of Lands and Mines Watch Ghana. Awal Mohammed is a member of the NPP's Communications Directorate. Thank you. I know.
You have not been sacked.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you the HR? You are the HR.
What's accounting? That's my boss.
We are very fair.
No, then you have to tell him why is it in here?
We are very fair.
You are supposed to work.
Then this government, we are very fair. Then this government, we are very fair.
But this is beautiful. That I want to sit on the same show with this HR. That is sweet. Okay, let me do this. Happy glorious birthday, Deaconess Mame Abena Frimpoma. You are a mother like no other, a vessel of God that is making impact in this generation, full of love, generosity, and strength. You are the true definition of growth and grace, a mother to all and a friend to the little ones. We celebrate you today. May this new year of your life be a destiny-fulfilling one, full of unquenchable blessings, peace, and favor. Amen. So happy glorious birthday to you, Deaconess Mame Abena Frimpoma. And also to you, Samuel Lord Quason. You were a teacher at Bedubon. So yesterday was your birthday. A happy belated birthday to you, sir. May the good Lord bless you. So, Binya Lord, mo the teacher of Bedubon. So, Alman any the Wauda, Yaman Maza Yira na Yo Kizri, Alman Ire desire. Madame the Carman Lufufu, Yaman do one no, na Yo Kizri Baba. Gentlemen, the producer.
The CEO why he says that Awal has to be in the office. Awal has to be in the office.
But our producer has been magnanimous enough. He's giving us an extension of 5 minutes for us to deal with the rent issue. Fantastic. So we are going back. It's just 5 minutes.
Amazing.
I'll just give you 130, and then we're done.
It's my baby, so give me 2.
Yes, I'll start with you. Now, so, I mean, rent control has ordered a suspension of hostel fee increment, but we're asking, will the directive hold? Let me start with you, Kwame.
The directive must hold. I think that in this country, we've pampered people too much. I still want to make the point that to be able to ensure that there is some sanity in that system, we have to have an authority that regulates rent in Ghana. And I'm still proposing to government of Ghana, we must have the Ghana Rent Regulatory Authority to regulate rent in Ghana. And we can start with the hostels. Because all these hostels are scattered around. When I was in KNUSC many years ago, we had Ivandi, we had Ivandi 1, Ivandi 2, and I think later they had maybe Brunei or something, all those things. Brunei, rather, you understand? And then later they have some hostels are bombed. So the point I'm making is that when you go to the universities, these hostels, you can see them. They must be forced to register and they must be forced to open within the confines of law. If we have an authority, that authority will be able to seamlessly handle that. Number 2, we need to...
So you want the rent control to be an authority?
Rent control should be, yes, it should be an authority.
Okay.
It should be an authority. And then they should have a task force as maybe like as a department or whatever it is, or as an agent of that authority, ensuring compliance.
Okay.
So that is what I'm proposing. I will still insist that that ought to happen. Okay. If we have an authority, the authority will now determine that. And moving beyond this conversation, I think that we should also zone the country. Once we zone the country, we'll be able to now have demarcations. Then we have an electronic system which is tied to the Rent Control Authority. Anybody who wants to rent their properties out must register on that platform, on that portal, so that it makes it easier for people to now go and instead of...
Thank you.
Let's have time in this.
Sure.
Because my PhD thesis is actually on that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, good job.
Me, I want to even praise the commissioner, the rent control man. I mean, he's done a marvelous job.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's doing well.
Yeah,
He's doing well. He's doing well. It must be an authority, Charlie.
Yeah. And also, you see, my issue even goes beyond the fees. The issue of people paying rent more than 6 months advance.
Yeah.
Understand that there are some places you have to pay like two years.
Yes.
And it's 7,000 and above.
Yeah.
Really?
7,000.
But also it's a property, you don't have it.
3 years?
3 years, 4 years. That's how much you
rent.
Yeah.
I mean, how?
It's an Accra that you can find 1 year, 2 years.
But this is serious. Okay, of course. These are being pushed by demand and supply. So we probably have to look at our housing deficit as a nation.
Today I hear the government is planning 2028 to reduce the housing deficit to make sure they build affordable housing.
We may have to. Yeah, we may have to look at
affordable housing.
How affordable?
Exactly.
We probably have to look at
okay,
it.
when you invite me on issues of rent, I'll highlight the issue for you.
You want to come and discuss his thesis?
Yeah, I think when I saw the interview by the commissioner, and I'm told this is the first time a commissioner has really been appointed to do this work. And when I saw his work in the hostels and so on, I was extremely happy. Because you see, when this government said they would do the fees
for first years.
Yeah, for the first years.
Free fees.
Some of us were saying that, as a former SRC president, I said, if you pay AFUF for someone, the hostel alone is 3 times what you're paying to the person. Yeah. So how can that be fee stress? You understand? Because you go to the hostel and they are charging 24,000. And the AFUF is around 1,700, 1,800. So you pay 1,700 for someone. He goes to rent a hostel of 10,000 or 15,000. So you've not really substantially helped the person.
But the hostel is optional.
No, you have to sleep. You understand?
Because now, can you see when I was about leaving?
But the stress policy.
When I went to
That's a policy.
Stress-free is to let you enter. Yeah, which is good. Which is good.
I'm saying that it's good. But you see, when the person has to pay 10,000 or 20,000 for a hostel, when you are paying 1,500, 1,800 for the person, you've not really substantially helped the person. That's why this one, I am happy that this man is in. Even if it doesn't touch the home rents and so on, you should start with the university.
The universities, yes.
All the hostels that are operating within the university areas have registered already with the universities. Yeah. They have registered with them. So he can even do that in the boardroom, not necessarily go in there. You can just sit within the boardroom and sit down and look at how much they charge for the students and so on. Then you look at the facilities they have and the kind of things that they give. So I think, but now he is saying that there is a law that they are sending to cabinet for some approval, then it will go to parliament, then they will have the right to go in and regulate.
It's about implementation.
Yes,
there must be an authority.
We must find the appointing authority for putting the right person there.
Good job. Well, I was expecting more from you when you go to the office. But so grateful to you, you stayed. But we have another wish here. Happy birthday to Honorable Nicholas Amankwa, MP for Amenfi East. Oh, that's my friend. AKA Homeboy. I like him. Yeah, that's my friend. I like him. He's a very, very... Nicholas Amankwa, Amenfi East.
He's my friend, former DC.
A very humble, multifaceted, and hardworking leader. May the good Lord bless you on this special day, Honorable. So, Honorable Amankwa, happy birthday to you wherever you are. And once again, to my friend and teacher, Samuel Lord Quason of Badubon, so the school I attended. Almaned Wauda. Happy birthday, belated birthday to you. I'm leader on a yoke. In Mubaudo weekend, yes, I'm crying about my hot special. Namza Shele, Missima, and the memoirs. Yamanamazai, Engra, when I'm man, Ekizri way, you know. And don't say, we are hunter. There's a hunter language of the hunter people in Western region. you were there?
I enjoyed the place.
Oh, we have beautiful
and
people.
Their color.
Oh, yes.
I was so,
All right. So on this note, we invite all of you to come to Hunter West. We have beautiful places, beautiful people. Lawyers attesting to our hospitality. Come there and experience the Hunter that we have for you. On this one, we'll take a break here. We'll have more for you here on the show. Do stay with us.
Cadbury hot chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
Hey! Is your tech holding you back? Feeling lost in the maze of outdated gadgets? Relax. Come with me to Configure.
Baba, see magic. Now I've been international fashion designer. No more pencil than talk matter beer. Coffee Ghana. Classic. Oh, number one.
At Ghana, we don't just sell electronics, we transform your life. From office to home appliances and more, we have everything you need to step into the future.
Ghana, classic one. Ghana, number one.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Welcome to Sulas Enterprise, the shop that deals in industrial machinery such as generators, rice millers, water pumps, compressors, and mowers. From the smallest to the largest capacity, at Sulas Enterprise, we give you nothing but the best from the best brands such as Honda and Perkins. When it comes to our generators, we also sell mowers coming from brands like Honda, Briggs and Straton, and Oleuma. And when it comes to our water pumps, we offer you brands like Lily, and Pedrolo water pumps. We also sell rice millers for all capacities. We are located at Spintex Kakalika Plaza. Also find our various locations as displayed on screen, or call us on the following number: 0243-839-463 or 0554-154-416 or 0240-541-493.
Sulas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability.
From Africa to football's biggest stage, you are invited to be a part of it. Feel the rush, the passion of every moment. Don't just watch the game. Live the FIFA World Cup experience. With VIP seatings, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, priority access at every turn, luxury all around you. Seamless, effortless, exceptional. Because this is more than a ticket. This is your FIFA World Cup 2026 experience. Brought to you by Match Experience Hospitality. Call 055 155 1119 or visit matchexphospitality.com to secure your packages or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, for more information and payment.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It's been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make me set the bliss. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you.
Puma Drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Ghana's young people are witnessing climate change, not in textbooks, but in their communities. Changing rains, flooding, drought, food insecurity. Their stories are real. And now it's time for the nation to hear them. Join news in partnership with the Africa Climate Collaborative at the University of Ghana, CDKN Ghana, Beyond the Science, and YEFL Ghana proudly present a national dialogue on Ghana's youth and climate change. Trained youth climate reporters, one national platform, powerful community stories from across Ghana on radio, TV, digital, and social media. Join us for an evening of storytelling, expert dialogue, and recognition of Ghana's boldest young climate voices. It's live on Joy News, Thursday, 21st of May 2026, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Youth Voices, Climate Stories, the future of climate action in Ghana by Ghanaian.
Come here and access, and they are continue our 6-unit classroom building.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and access, and they are continue our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
Law affects everything, your job, your home, your rights. But for many, the law feels distant, complicated, full of big words and bigger confusion, legal jargons, constitutional twists, hidden loopholes. And sometimes what seems simple is far more complex than it appears.
Even if he's a tenant, but he conducts himself as if he's the owner, he has automatically stated to you that you are no more the owner.
That's why there is the law, a program designed for you to break it all down, to explain, to clarify.
The ends of justice are that the outcome must be fair, it must be conscionable, it must be equitable, and it must be just.
The law, it's your legal rights, it's your health law. On Joy News, independent, fearless, credible.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us. Now, this morning, our big story revisits one of Ghana's biggest financial rescue efforts and a crisis that continues to affect thousands of investors years later. Now, following the collapse of dozens of fund management companies during the financial sector cleanup, government established the Amalgamated Mutual Fund managed by GCB Capital as a special purpose vehicle to support a bailout process for customers whose investments had been inaccessible. Now, since then, billions of cedis have been injected and thousands of claims processed through different phases of the intervention. But despite the payout and restructuring efforts, some investors say the chapter remains far from closed. Case in point, customers of Gold Coast Fund Management have now petitioned President John Mahama for an audience, arguing that many continue to face financial hardship from locked-up funds. They say years after the cleanup exercise, questions over unpaid balances, delayed relief, and a clear pathway for or to resolution remain unanswered. And this morning, we ask, has the intervention achieved its purpose, or are thousands still waiting for closure? Joining me this morning, Kojo, of course, as well. Charles Nyame is convener, aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management. Rosamond Grunitsky, as well, is a victim. But before we get into the conversation, let's situate it. Maybe you don't know the journey so far. And Isaac Kofi-Addo, head of Joy News Research, has been doing some digging and has joined us. Kofi, what have you been discovering so far? And what will be a gentle reminder to Ghanaians this morning?
In fact, what we all remember is that the banking sector cleanup was one of the exercises that cost the country a lot. If you read what government has published so far about the banking sector cleanup, we understand that this cost the state over 20 billion Ghana cedis. And that is the figure that we are made to understand in terms of the injection or the amount government needed to save the banks around that time. But in 2018, when the banking sector cleanup was done, there were a number of banks that, after raising the minimum capital from that 120 million Ghana cedis to about 400 million Ghana cedis by the Bank of Ghana, there was a special purpose vehicle called the GAT that was introduced to actually save some 9 banks. And according to government, if they did not do if that was not done in 2018, you were going to have about 5,000 depositors who were going to lose their monies. But in fact, there are those who lost their monies anyway and are still looking for that lifeline promised by various leaders, including the current president, who said that, well, I will make sure that this is solved within the shortest possible time. It's been 16 months and we've still not heard anything tangible as far as payment to these aggrieved customers is concerned. And they've been going to court. They've had a number of issues. And in fact, the banking sector itself has been complaining about that Ghana Amalgamated Trust Fund, which was supposed to be a savior. And for many analysts, this has become rather an albatross on the necks or around the necks of the banking sector. And if you do the math, what you see is that something that started and was supposed to be a savior, currently with a compound interest of about 19.1%, peaked, share stake is now around 75.8%. And if you look at the trajectory so far, 9 banks or licensed, banks were actually, their licenses were revoked, right? And in fact, this is where most of the aggrieved customers claim that, well, their monies have been locked up in this space. There were 4 indigenous banks that were set up that, well, GAT is going to save you. And over the years, we've had complaint that, well, that savior you brought has now become an albatross. Why? Because if you look at our shareholdings, it has not been the same since you introduced GAT. Let's look at the first bank that GAT was supposed to actually save. I'll come back to the non-payment and how much we've even collected as far as the levy we introduced to save the space. But let's look at the story of ADB and how it has journeyed so far with the Ghana Amalgamated Trust. And look at where ADB used to be in terms of their shareholding somewhere. Let's start from 2018. ADB used to have 32% shares belonging to government, 61% to BOG and FIT, and 7% to other, shareholders. Now, after that decision to use GAT to save some of these banking institutions, look at how that has changed, where currently Government of Ghana and possibly Bank of Ghana is holding about 88.1% shares in ADB. And there are conversations about the solvency of the bank, because many believe that, well, the bank is not liquid enough. If you look at the shareholding structure and how the GAT itself came in, And just look at how this has pushed other shareholders to just about 9.66%. If you are looking at how much government is taking in terms of shares now, look at the story of UNB, which is also at the heart of this whole gas. UNB before the banking sector cleanup, but 95% of UNB shares was being held by the 40 private equity and 4% to other players. But currently, as we speak, because of the amalgamated trust, look at how that has changed. 40 private capital, their equity has been possibly halved to about 52.6%, where currently GATT is holding about 44.86% of UNB, and just about some percentage points going to other stakeholders or other shareholders in the space. Another story about Omni Basic, which their story is a bit different. If you look at how they began, 28% Jospon, 28% the BIC group, and 44% GATT. But they were able to turn around their situation, and you see that the Jospon group increasing their shares to 37.5%. BIC group also increasing, essentially pushing GATT into the minority threshold of about 24.75%. And that has been the story. But for me, this is where the whole thing becomes, problematic, where they had also said that looking at the compounded interest that came as a result of this new special purpose vehicle, it has actually, if you look at the injection so far, according to government, but the exposure has been increasing. And many say that if you don't look at GATT well, this will rather, fail to be a savior. I mean, it was supposed to be a savior anyway, but its exposure and the kind of interest and the kind of, burden is putting on some of these 4 banks who were in this situation. I can say about 9 banks, 3 banks at the moment. They say that, well, if you look at the exposure so far and how the compounding interest is biting us, it is better you do something about it. But the conversation, the argument is that if you look at the before and after GATT, you should be fine. But many say that, well, that is not only what we are talking about, because you still have the banking sector cleanup levy that was introduced somewhere in 2020, 2021. And the main reason for that was to help, solve the issue of non-payment and also prevent, aggrieved customers like Gold Coast Capital and other fund managers for not going on this tangent, because that 5% on profit after tax that was put on financial institutions, the 23 dealer banks, was supposed to help solve the issue that was created, or the problem that was created after the financial sector cleanup. But about 6 years or 5 years down the line, if you look at the amount we've collected as far as the financial cleanup, sector cleanup levy is concerned, we are estimating close to about 2 billion Ghana cedis so far. And the big question is, where is the money? And what has that money been used for? And in terms of the promise made by the president that I'm going to solve this within the shortest possible time, because you look at the people who are exposed in this situation and the amount of money involved, many say that, well, if you look at the DDEP, it actually made this worse, because there are those who lost during the banking sector cleanup and also lost heavily during the DDEP, so a double whammy for them. But there was a promise made during the campaign season of 2024. And the big question we are all asking this morning is, what has been done so far? And if you look at the financial sector cleanup levy that was introduced, what have we done with that over 2 billion Ghana cedis that we've collected so far? How many of these, customers or aggrieved customers have we paid? And in terms of those who still have their monies not paid currently, what is the situation so far? We've had 2 State of the Nation address, and the last one we did not hear any sort of hint as to how government wants to solve this situation. We've had 2 budgets, the 2025 budget and the 2026 budget, and I can tell you that per our analysis, there's still no clarity on the trajectory that government has taken to actually solve this situation. The mid-year budget is just around the corner. The 2027 budget will be read possibly in November. The big questions are, when are these aggrieved customers going to get paid? And in terms of the revenues we've raked from the financial sector cleanup levy, which is in excess of about 1.8, close to about 2 billion Ghana cedis, what have we done with that money? How many of the aggrieved customers have we paid? How many of the customers who were in this position have we paid so far? But the argument around GATT is that, well, if we had not done this, there were going to be about 5,400 customers possibly who could have, if you look at the banking space, who would have lost their jobs. Over 20,000 in terms of the ecosystem, direct jobs, and then also depositors, they could talk about 10.2 billion. In terms of this financial sector cleanup, that was done. But that has been done. We've actually moved on for more than 5 years, but there is still no clarity on how some of these aggrieved customers will be paid. The money involved, Emefa and Kojo, is huge, and we've collected, based on the data that we have tracked, close to about 2 billion Ghana cedis from the financial sector cleanup levy. But the big question is, what have we done with that money?
Well, Kojo, it's a question we'll attempt to see if we'll find some answers to.
Yeah, exactly.
But is it difficult to understand? Well, we've got the convener, Charles Nyame. We've also got an aggrieved customer as well, Rosamond, joining us in studio. I have cited about 3 letters authored by the convener of the aggrieved customers. One to the Honourable Minister in charge of Finance, the other as well to the presidency, trying to get their attention. This is not to say that nothing has been done so far. Something has been done, but it's their story, right? We understand the numbers. It's their story and they're here. Kojo, let's start with the convener himself. We understand that, of course, there was an amalgamated mutual fund, which is supposed to be a temporary pot that holds the center together.
Right?
It is. It was created.
I'm on there.
Absolutely.
In fact, they even have a bigger role after DDEP now because they are supposed to be in the solvency issue and all of that.
For a convener, if you hear about that fund, it gives you some respite, knowing that it is journeying you to some solution. But what triggered you trying to seek the finance minister's attention in 2025?
Thank you very much. Greetings to your viewers and all aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management and other collapsed financial institutions. In fact, during the 2024 election, there were a lot of correspondence between ourselves and the current ruling party. In fact, there was a point even the president invited the leadership of the aggrieved, the current president invited the leadership of aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management. And a lot of assurances and promises were given. And I could say that the president, the current president, President John Dramani Mahama, understands the issues very well. And it is upon that he came out publicly, because we requested that he comes out publicly to announce so that we can also rally our members to vote on that direction, because as at then, the problem had existed for about 6 to 7 years, and the government, the then government, the NPP government, was just playing back and forth with the issues. So if someone has come out boldly with clear intentions stating that within my first year in office, I will not put together any long-term payment plan, but a very short-term payment plan within the first year of my office to pay all outstanding balances, why not? Because people were dying as we were speaking at then, and as now people are still dying. If you look at the composition of our customer or our members, about 80% are retirees or pensioners. They are on pension. And some of them, their livelihood is connected to this investment that they made. Some of them are on medications which they were taking the profit or the accrued interest periodically to seek medical attention on what have you. Some of them are renting spaces. Though they are on pension, but they are renting spaces that they were depending on these stipends, monthly stipends from their investment to just pay their rents. And people were dying. So when he came out publicly, we also rallied our members, okay, let's vote in this direction. And no one can say that the victory of President Mahama, our issue was not part, because it was one of the issues that was hanging on the nation's neck, and we were all looking for solutions. We were talking about even aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Farm Management Loan. Before some payment was made, we were talking about over 100,000 of claims which claims, some of the claims are corporate claims, which has a lot of members on that claim. So when we talk of the numbers is over 200,000 direct members. And these people have dependents. So when we talk of the issue, those that this issue affects, it goes on and on and on. So we rallied our support behind him. So we were expecting the president and his government to do exactly as was promised, that within the first year of his government, he would just pay off these outstanding balances. So after the 2025 budget, during the 2025 budget, a hint was given in the budget. About 8 billion Ghana cedis was set for legacy arrears, of which they mentioned the revamp of NIB, ADB, and outstanding payment of victims of collapsed financial institutions. So we thought, when we heard that, we thought the government had done what he promised to do.
Just take a breather there so that we don't lose viewers. Well, what did the then President Mahama say? What was the promise before we continue to how it found expression in the 2025 budget? Take a look.
To hear government officials justify the huge amount it is spending to manage the impact of the collapse of Ghanaian financial institutions, which they now put at a whopping 21 billion Ghana cedis. I weep for the many who have lost their jobs, the many who have lost their jobs, the many who have lost their businesses, and the many who have lost their livelihoods as a result of these policies. I pledge on behalf of the NDC that we shall, within 1 year of being in office, pay all funds that have been locked up with the collapsed financial institutions. Within our first year in office, we shall pay to all the beneficiaries all funds locked up in the collapsed financial institutions. It is a promise. We shall not put together any long-term payment plan that will further worsen the living conditions of the victims.
Well, so that was then candidate Mahama, who is currently the President of the Republic, hands on heart, making the promises. The convener is still here. Then what? 2025, then
2025. So when that legacy arrest allocation was made in the budget, which was around 8 billion, we were very happy. So we started following up for the disbursement. And we were just told that the appropriation bill did not capture the allocation. So funds are not available to make such payments. It was at then that we wrote to the finance minister that he should urgently clarify the government position as far as this issue is concerned. And Kojo and Emefa, it is surprised to state that the finance minister has been very reluctant in responding to any of our letters, about 4 or 5 letters that we have sent to his office. He has not responded any of them. Any of them
responded to any.
And we have made a lot of follow-ups. So we left it. So close to the 2026 budget, we wrote to the finance minister again that he should include our outstanding balances to the coming budget, that's the 2026 budget. And again, he never responded to that letter. Then we did a step forward. We wrote to the chief of staff at the Jubilee House, pleading with him to prompt the finance minister to include our outstanding payment in the 2026 budget. The chief of staff wrote to the finance minister, prompting him to cooperate in our matter, citing our letter and prompting him to cooperate in our requests. And he copied us. But lo and behold, nothing was done. And we were very surprised to notice that the very day that the budget was read, the finance minister, Akufo-Addo, was hosted on the PM Express that very day. And Evans asked him a categorical question, and he said, this is a national interest question. That's what Evans, I'm quoting Evans' way. This is a national interest question. What has become of the payment of the financial cleanup exercise victim? And when I should marry all the things that the finance minister said, he categorically said that they will not pay.
Is that what he said? Hold on there.
Just maybe.
Let's watch him.
Ask him about those whose funds are locked up. And this is from the banking cleanup that happened. A lot of the banks went under. It appears from this message that there are a lot of people still whose funds are locked up. They haven't received their funds. When are they going to get them?
So, Evans, let me be blunt here. I have fundamental problems with this particular issue. First, government has no business in collapsing companies and taking liabilities and using 30 billion cedis of taxpayers' money to fund it. It is so wrong. So wrong. One, government isn't a shareholder. So I'm not talking of state-owned banks. I'm talking of private businesses that have collected people's deposit. And for some interesting reason, they have failed to honor the terms of the agreement they had, and that all of a sudden, the state should pay. Granted that the state is paying another 20, 30 billion. You know what will happen? I will not be able to do these allocations that I'm doing for schools, for hospitals, and all. So what is the opportunity cost? This is a country that is just coming from debt distress. Am I going to borrow another 10 billion and saddle the state with additional debt? Whilst a businessman who has collected this money and has run away? No way. No way. I don't think I have to run state's resources like that. My view, if care is not taken and we go that route, business owners will collect depositors' money and go at large, and the state would take that responsibility. In fact, we shouldn't have started that at all. We should have gone after the assets. Previously, they should have gone after those assets. And they should have, and that is why there's central bank. And that is why you have some payment you have to put there. When we were leaving office in 2015, we set up the depositors insurance scheme and all to provide a system. The state cannot be paying this. And the taxpayer cannot be used as punching bag all the time. That any time somebody set up a microfinance or savings and loan company, they run it aground and they just go and a central bank move in and collapse it and transfer the debt to the Ministry of Finance to pay. Am I going to stop paying school feeding? Am I going to stop paying capitation grant? Because the money must come from somewhere. The money must come from somewhere. Tell me, what am I cutting to pay the person who gave his investment to a private person to mismanage? So I have fundamental issues with that. I think government has no business in going into that and be taking those responsibilities to pay. In fact, we do not even have the money to do that.
Yeah. So basically, for those who may have money so locked, anything for them, anything.
So I think for them, the central bank, who is the regulator, must get involved and to recover those assets and to use those assets to settle them.
Well, Emefa,
okay, so that's the finance minister. We hear you. Kofi, let's break it down. That's quite some genuine concern by the finance minister, right? He asked a very potent question.
But
where will he find the money? We had a fund, right?
Yes, it was
Kofi
there.
should break it down.
But again, Kofi, I want you to come in here. Isn't this in direct opposition to the first sound we played from the president?
In fact, that's what I'm about to say, that this is completely different from the man who made the promise and the man who handles the purse. He believes that there is currently no fiscal room to actually accommodate the 10.45 billion. That is the outstanding amount of money that we need to pay to make sure that we complete the banking sector cleanup, especially looking at those who have still had their monies locked up. And I'm not surprised, because on this same show, the finance minister was also asked about the recapitalization of the Bank of Ghana, and he was also very blunt that go and sell your assets. You have a new building which is just behind you, a beautiful one, sell it. But he's changed that position, where after the IMF review, he's now saying that we are going to collaborate and have a plan to recapitalize the bank by 2032. There's a plan to recapitalize Bank of Ghana, and the commitment is about 13 billion, close to about 14 billion a year, to make sure that we achieve positive equity by 2032. So clearly, when he took the reins of power, there were so many things that he had very direct positions on. And I don't know whether that position has changed. But it will be interesting to know the direction that the finance minister will take in the upcoming, mid-year budget and the 2027 budget. But we have to know that beyond Gold Coast Capital, there are also 19,000 miners who also had their savings locked up. The miners' savings also in this same fund. Gold Coast Capital about 50,000. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. So in total, we are talking about close to 70,000 customers who've had their investment locked up over a period of 2018. Now it's about close to about 7 to 6 years that they have not been paid. If this money was an investment in any equities, I'm sure by now it should be accruing some significant amount of interest. And you look at the amount outstanding, that's about 10 billion, Ghana cedis, close to about 10.5 billion Ghana cedis. And in fact, that money is used about $1.5 billion currently. And so it's not a joke.
Because the minister said that, where is he going to get that money? Just break it down for viewers before we come back to the convenience. Will be that. What then did they do when you say you have an amalgamated fund to cushion these people?
Yeah.
What then was the fund supposed to do? I appreciate the humanitarian grounds.
Okay, can I read a bit of what is on the top side?
Then I'll come in. Yeah.
Now, it says that the Amalgamated Mutual Fund, AM Fund, is an open-ended collective investment scheme set up by GCB Capital Limited with funding from the government of Ghana. It is a special purpose vehicle to implement a bailout program for investors whose funds were locked up with the defunct fund management companies, FMCs. Membership of the fund is open to validated former client and the defunct FMCs. Investors receive pro rata shares of their validated claims in either one or both tiers of the fund. Investors have GCB bank account open for them into which cash redemptions are paid. So these were given, these guys had some monies for which they had to invest on behalf of these guys so they could pay, right?
Yes. Yeah, because it's like it's the investment leg or arm of the Ghana Commercial Bank.
More or less like ESLA, right?
Yes.
So what has happened to those?
So what does the finance minister mean when it says that?
That was a point I made earlier, saying that, well, if you look at the funding source, it is supposed to be spearheaded by the central bank. But at the moment, and in fact, I would say that those who got their money locked up, it would have been easier to pay them before the crisis year of 2022 and 2023. After that period, right, we had the DDEP, which actually worsened the situation. It actually compounded government obligation to investors. Because remember that after the DDP, we enjoyed some level of moratorium. Now we have started paying. And we can't default because we have plans to go back to the international capital market. So that money that could have been used to pay, that's why I appreciate that 8 billion that was budgeted for as legacy arrears, and a portion was allocated to them. But if you go back to do the assessment, you realize that there is not enough money to pay DDP, customers, if I should put it that way, and still pay those who suffered from the 2018 banking sector cleanup. And that's where I think that the difficulty is. There is actually no money, but we have to find the money because we introduced the levy, and that's my point.
Yes.
What has happened to the levy? We've collected over 2 billion, about 2 billion Ghana cedis so far. What have we done with that banking sector cleanup levy?
Since you altered the letter to him, the finance minister, you say, has not responded to you, but he has some sort of responded to you on PM Express. Then what?
So upon this response that he made, which I have a lot of reservation, but let me go straight to the point. Upon this response that he made on PM Express, That necessitated us to then write to the president because we said, okay, after all, Akufo-Addo never made any promise to us. Akufo-Addo never engaged us. It is His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. So let's write to him. We wrote to him dated 21st November 2025, and we've done a lot of follow-up letters. We've not gotten any response. So most of our members, when you go on our platform, they are tempted to say that, is it that the president lied on his way through to ascend to the throne of presidency? Because when you consider his deafening silence on this matter, and upon the letters that we have written to the Jubilee House, requesting him to come clear with his position on this matter, and we have not gained any responses from him, then we are tempted to believe that maybe he lied his way through to the presidency. But we don't believe that is so. So we are using this platform to serve him a reminder that people are still dying. Those are the reasons why when he engaged us, those are the issues that we raised. And based on that, he made that promises. And these people, these old ladies, old women, they are still dying. We have compiled some sort of documentary concerning our members who have pressing issues and dying issues. If you grant us another opportunity, we will give those footages to you. And when you play here, Akufo-Addo, I don't think when he sees those footages, he will maintain his ground.
Let's look at the finance minister's position. His position is that he believes those banks and institutions that were involved, their assets could have been, sold and then used to pay the debts. That has not been done.
He's not been principled. Akufo-Addo, he's not been principled on the grounds that, look, in the 2020, when the bailout package was set up, Akufo-Addo was then the ranking member to the Finance Committee of Parliament. When the first allocation for underpayment was made, it went to the Finance Committee of Parliament. He didn't raise those issues. In 2024, he was the minority leader at Parliament when budget was made and this allocation was input in the budget. He didn't raise these concerns. Why? Is it now his government is in power, so Ghana has no money to pay this? Let me tell you, these are statutory debts. He was talking about private-owned institutions. Who regulates the private-owned institution? Who gave them the licenses? Let me tell you, if you want us to go back, all this mess was created under the first regime of President Mahama. Before NPP took over in 2017, in 2016, IMF had already issued a warning letter prompting the then government to restructure the financial sector, else it is going to the drain. It is just that the NPP government exploited the situation. They did not use the right means in restructuring the finance sector, but the mess was caused by them. And then he was the deputy finance minister. What did he do? He supervised all this mess. He was the head of the regulatory team. What did he do? So what is he talking about? That the Ghana has no money, the government has no money dealing with private businesses, meanwhile you regulated them. So he should stop that. We don't want to go back. We don't want to be pointing fingers. Let's look forward for the solution. We are calling on President Mahama. We don't care. We have done about 200 demonstrations in this country for the past 6 years. And if he's going to position himself just as Ken Ofori-Atta and be talking like Ken Ofori-Atta, we will also approach him the way we approach Ken Ofori-Atta.
Okay. At least let's hear you. How has this affected
I'm sure
you?
You have, I'm sure. I know you have some monies locked up in there. Yes. But with all these, I'll pay, we don't have money going on, how does it come to you? What does it bring or make of your case as someone who's had monies locked in there?
It's not easy. It's not easy. Because my husband had his money there. He was working with Anglo Gold Ashanti. When he went on pension, they put everything there.
We'll be glad if you could project it.
Okay. Yeah. He was working with Anglo Gold Ashanti, Ugwasi. So when he went on pension, he put everything there.
How much is it?
It's a lot.
It's a lot?
Yeah. And my mom too, she's 77 now. And when she went on pension at Ghana Commercial Bank, she put her money there. And she even have a sick child, which is 44 years old, that we always go for pampers and all that. So can you imagine? And my children are still in school.
Oh.
And my business is going to be, I also have my money there. So it's like nothing is working. Life is tough. Even paying the children's school fees, it's not easy. And sometimes I even cry because of my mom, because she have to buy pampers, not buy pampers for somebody who is sick for so many years. And you yourself, you are 77. It's not easy. So life
and
is,
your money is locked
life is so, sometimes people will see me and say, oh, she have a lot of money, don't mind her. You know, so when you go to family, they say, oh, she's having money, don't mind her. But I have nothing. Everything is locked up. Everything.
How much of your money is locked up?
It's plenty. It's much. My husband own, my own, is over 1 million. It's too much.
Okay.
And the responses you get are what? What response do you get when you push?
Whenever we go to, I always follow Charles. We go everywhere. So when we go, we send a letter, everything. Oh, they will pay. They will pay. They started paying, all right. That was 2020. They gave us some. When you collect it, you pay the people that you owe.
They gave 50,000. Looking at someone who has about 3 million Ghana cedis, and then you give you 50,000.
Yes, and then 2020, 2024,
they pay 30,000.
They pay, yeah, 30. Some of us collect 20,000.
So how to be
and when you collect that money, you just pay. You just pay people that you are owing. You can't keep it. You can't win it.
Your locked-up investment, is it attracting any form of interest?
No, nothing.
They truncated it back in September 2018.
Nothing. And it's so painful.
So look at time value for money.
Okay.
Inflation.
So I'll come back to you. But for you, do you have the hope that you get this money?
I'm praying, and I'm taking this media to plead to our president. They should just have mercy. Most of them are pensioners. Most of the investment that they have made, most of them. Because whenever I follow Charles, we go around, we enter some houses, even I feel pity for them. Because their situation is even worse than mine. Some of them, even food, they can't get it. Wow. Nothing. Their children are just in their house, they can't go to school. And it's heartbreaking. I'm like, it's heartbreaking. So when I get there, I even cry. Sometimes I would just say, Uncle Charles, I'm coming. I'll just walk out. Because I can't stand the pain. I can't stand the suffering, like the pain that they are going through. Though I'm going through the same pain. I'm going through it. But yes, my mom is going through it. You know, and you can't approach family. But when they see you, oh, you look good, you have money. When they say, oh, I don't have it, oh, no, my hair, she have money. But I know what I'm going through. My mom knows what she's going through. Those pensioners know what they are going through. So it's not easy for us at all. So we are pleading to the president. We are just pleading. The president should do something about this issue and save lives. People are dying. I have a lot of them that we went to their funeral. Uncle Charles can bear me witness. We go to their funeral.
Some of them will pay medical bills.
Some of them.
They will call you. The old ones, those who have no children. When they are sick, they call you. You have to go and pay medical bills. Some of them, you have to send them money to buy food. And where are we getting that money from?
But don't you think that the finance minister has a genuine, reason that there is currently no money? He's fiscally constrained because you look at the number of taxes they had to cut this year, and last year they didn't meet their revenue targets. The fact that they are paying, DDEP commitments. Don't you think that this concerns raised is genuine?
Kofi, before even Charles would come in, you may have to reconcile the position of the finance minister. There's one thing you believing in wanting to do something, and you're genuinely constrained because he doesn't believe in having using government taxpayers' money to offset private sector issues. That's one position. And also saying that, well, I admit I see there's a problem. I'll see what I can do. But these are two different things.
That was his position on the recapitalization of the bank, of the central bank. He had a position that he believes we should not use taxpayers' money to recapitalize the bank. But now he's having conversations around we recapitalize the bank within a period of 7 years. So maybe he's changed his mind.
Okay. In 2024, in July 2024, I think the Parliament had to do something about it. There was a committee that was set up, right, to want to, pay some amounts, which you say they started paying. What triggered? What did you say differently to the then ministry or the then government to be able to say that, well, we're doing some claims? In my readings as well, it looks as though there were some recommendations by the committee, but it hasn't been fully implemented. Why did it truncate?
In fact, I led the petition to the Parliament, and the committee was said we appeared. Security Selection Commission, being the regulator of these institutions, also appeared. The finance minister, the then finance minister, that was Anta and Abna Oseasari, they also appeared. So upon the scrutiny, the Parliament sent a report, and in fact we were led. In fact, our group was led by Honorable Mahama Yaga, the current leader of Parliament. He was our spokesperson on that committee. He was our spokesperson on that committee, and he argued. By then, it is Akufo-Addo who gave him the green light to lead us. And he spoke for us that the government has to pay. So what has changed now? So the committee recommended that the government, this is a debt that the government has to pay. Even if the government cannot pay it at a go, it can be paid in installment. And we are not asking anything bigger than that. Let these old people get something periodically to take care of themselves. Even if the president cannot go by what he said, that not a long term, but he can, just let's see some payments so that these people can live. It is their livelihood. So they recommended that the amount should be paid. The government should find money and pay the, I don't know, it is the change of, and when that report was made, the government came out to announce allocation of 1.5 billion. That was in the month of June, July. And that amount was supposed to be spread or to be paid in 3 tranches. The first tranche being 700 million Ghana cedis, the second being 400 million Ghana cedis, and the third being 400 million Ghana. And it's supposed to have been paid, the last amount supposed to have been paid in 31st December 2024. Yeah. But when the first tranche was released, the other 2 subsequent tranches were never released. So after this government took over, we did a follow-up to the Controller and Accountants General Department, that's Mr. Akosua. I went to see him and inquire what has become the subsequent 2 tranches that are supposed to have been released.
Which mean they approved parliamentary recommendations.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it was announced in the mid-year budget of 2024. It was captured in the mid-year budget of 2024. But when we got there, the document we got shows that it was partly lip service from the then government. They just instructed the controller to release only 700 million Ghana cedis. They never sent any document for the controller to release the subsequent...
To continue the subsequent ones. Okay. Okay.
So that was the situation.
How do you feel about this? How do you feel about the then Mahama Yariga, who is now majority leader, who led? How do you feel about it? Do you feel that you have been played? Do you feel that how do you feel about it?
No, I don't feel that from his side. In fact, when the government took over, we started engaging him. It was upon his request that we got all these documents.
Okay.
In fact, he planned a meeting between himself and the finance minister. Though he never got back to tell us, but I was told the finance minister turned down that meeting. So I don't know if it is a unilateral decision that the finance minister has taken not to do anything about the issue. I don't know. I think upon that, he also began to be reluctant because after all, he can't just get up and do things on his own if cabinet has not approved and the finance minister is not ready to work this out with him. Always you have been engaging him and it has been positive. But I think there's little he can do without the support of the finance minister and the president as far as this issue is concerned.
So the president who made the promise and he used the word, you shall. That's what he said, right? We shall. Shall is a command that we will do, right?
Yeah.
who made the promise to you has not spoken with you since he assumed office?
No. And all the letters that we have sent since, I think, 21st November, none of them has been responded to. They've not responded to.
But what about the amalgamated fund itself? Because that sits under the GCB.
For the amalgamated fund, the only job the amalgamated fund can do is when allocation is made and it is released, then they will do the disbursements.
Okay.
So until allocation is made and release is done, there's nothing they can do.
Like the
So
cash waterfall mechanism,
if we
right?
need to
No
deal with
inflows.
anybody, we need to deal with the cabinet, that's the president and the finance minister.
Okay. There's an observation that I'm making here, looking at some data. And what I see in terms of all the payments that have been labeled as GAT money, because if indeed they were GAT money, they should have gone to people who have got their monies locked up. But a significant part of the payments we have seen since 2020 has actually gone into recapitalization of banks and not actual payments to, people who have had their monies locked up in the space. That's why I wanted to ask the question. You have about over $10 billion Ghana cedis locked up in currently, and you are looking for that payment. Are you ready and willing to sit down to negotiate for restructuring, another restructuring?
I think that will be a delay of time. This purpose vehicle has already been set. Validations have already been done. Some payments have already been effected. And even those payments that was effected paid off some of the people.
Yes.
Depending on the quantum of your investment. Some had lesser amount of investment, and those initial payments of 50,000 and 10,000, whatever, pay them off. So why should you restructure the remaining people? Equity.
If that's the most feasible way, because of course the finance minister has told you that there's the DDP challenge and all of that. If that's the most feasible,
we are ready to engage.
You just want audience at least.
We are ready to engage. All we need to do is this money must not be written as a bad debt. It has to be paid, because it is people's hard-earned money. And you see, one person that we are not asking for.
You have a feeling that it could be written as bad debt?
That's what the finance minister is trying to do. Because you are telling us that those who collected the money are walking around. Who's supposed to go after them? We or you? You gave them the licenses. You regulated them. You gave them a set of rules to operate within. If they flattered all these regulatory rules, who's supposed to go after them?
Kofi, what will be the role of the central bank in all of this?
In fact,
even if the finance minister does not take keen interest?
If you recall, I don't want to bring this in, but I have to. The reason why the current governor had to be tried for 7 years was part of the banking sector cleanup that was done, supervision, because he was the second deputy and he is in charge of the financial institutions, right? And so the government, the central bank plays an integral role. And that is why in his second stanza as a governor, we are seeing more of regulations, especially in the financial sector space, right? Because he's being a victim himself. He saw that when the cleanup was done, because he was a deputy governor and he was in charge of the banks. But the central bank has a bigger role to play here. In fact, he's right. You gave them the license. You are supposed to, regulate them. So if they have defaulted and have actually violated the licenses, like we've seen some of these, forex bureaus, their license being revoked and all of that, that essentially tells you that the banking sector, the Bank of Ghana is very important in this whole equation. If they sleep, the entire space will sleep, and that's essentially the situation.
Okay. Well, so we've been learning that one of the victims had died. I have a video, Kojo. Let's show viewers the video and then we'll come and see clarity. Take a look.
It's one of many. One out of many.
Please proceed. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
one of the many.
Yes, at a critical moment, his family reach out to us to come and support them, take care of him.
Wow.
Well, what was
so what was happening? You were saying something about in P, if you can describe it for us.
This man had worked with the Anglo-Good Ashanti for over 30 years, and he had a lot of money, and he put it in there.
Sick.
Just to take care of him at his old age.
So it's part of the 19,000 mine workers who got
Yeah.
And it's supposed to take care of him. But when the worst situation came, he couldn't access the money. And his situation kept on deteriorating up to this stage. He had a lot of surgeries and whatever, but it got to a point he couldn't have money to just continue the medication. And he has to pass away. Though we supported, but we could do but a little. So because of money, he has to die. Meanwhile, he has worked and saved for his old age. And at first, you say you have no business.
I'm sure for this one, you could tell us how much he had in there. Or it's your personal reason, so you want to keep it at that?
It's personal with his family. I don't have that.
But
when did this happen, by the way? When did he pass, unfortunately? And this is not to remind the family of their pain.
He passed, I think, early part of last year.
And you said this is one of many.
One of many. Even Accra here, if you want to compile a documentary, I can lead you to some of our people within just Accra here. Another person with the same similar condition also passed at Dansoman.
Yeah.
Similar condition. I also have the footage. I didn't send you because for them I couldn't read the family to ask for their permission to.
And the one who died at
a lot of people. A lot of people.
Rosamond, there's another person that died in Kaneshi.
Yes.
Yes. We have blind people. We have blind people. Another blind man who also worked with Anglo-Good Ashanti, he has a lot of money there. It's called Amoesi Satoboase. If you go and look at his condition where he's living now, and his children are very young. Oh. The children has to go and sell ice water before the man.
You know, most of the Anglo-Good workers.
So sometimes when we are talking with passion, it's because of the.
Yeah, but I think we need to understand why Anglo-Good, everything.
Most of the Anglo-Good workers, you know, when they went on redundancy, the only place the trust they have for GM Bank, which is Gold Coast, that's why most of them put their money there. Because, example, I started saving at Gold Coast 201.
Okay.
I started doing the investment there.
So you can imagine.
So that trust was there. That's why most of the Anglo-Good Ashanti workers put their money there.
And they never
most of them suffer because of this. And whenever you want your money, whenever you fill the form, 3 days, you have your money in your account. So that's why most of them put their money there. And I'm telling you, most of them are gone. Some of them commit suicide. I have a friend of mine, the husband commits suicide. Because he couldn't face the family, he can't feed them. He can't do anything. The only thing to solve his problem is to die and just let the woman handle the rest.
We have all these compelling stories that are not told in the public.
Let me ask you both a genuine question. Do you think that the letters you utter to the president, he receives it, or he has genuinely not seen it?
Not seen the letters.
We can't.
And for him, do you think that watching this today, and I know that the president watches Joy News, by all means, do you think that if he sees this, he'll respond?
I believe that the president has, even if he has not seen his letters, our letters, he saw what the finance minister said on PM Express. And if he had counter idea, he could have come out and stated otherwise. But he hasn't. And you see, we wrote first letter to the Jubilee House. The Jubilee House responded, wrote to the finance minister to cooperate in our demand and copied us. So how come they have not received this one? We have done a lot of follow-ups too, so they have received it. But we are just giving the president benefit of doubt. Maybe he has forgotten. We are serving this program to him as a reminder. And we are hoping that he will come out soon to set the roadmap for what he promised to do.
Before the 2024 election, I'm told we have one other, now a government officer who spoke on the same matter.
I mean, you've seen the president, you've seen the finance minister. A member of the party would not hold much credit.
Just to put, context to the whole discussion about the position this government held in opposition and what it has now. Let's watch that.
Yes, men's gold for women. First, men's gold. They are all parts. Yes, all financial institutions. Not pretend this for including men's gold. Yes, of course. All of them. All those. No, are you certain about that? Details. I am telling you, they are all parts. Men's gold. Wherever they are listening to me now, I am speaking in my capacity as communications officer of the party. All of them are covered under this promise. They will all be paid back in 1 year. Nothing that they be a men's gold. I said, men's gold for will be with your one. Oh, many people Ghana for. Ghana for what? Say something like come on. Ebi kurano. O ma penye kukwado award or de come man one pictures on ko twa ye na ma munya adwuma ni mugidi di musika koto. And let's atori enchemesi no musika hia. Aban o wa abadaye disaster si. O manfo bre ebi mu ahye mo ho akonfo ebi mu nya ho mojabro so. Now, men's gold near MFI and yet financial institution in the right sense of the word. We mean it liberally.
Well, so this is Sami Jemfiu, the national communications officer of the NDC, speaking then after John Mahama had made that promise that he would ensure that he pays them in the first year of his government.
Well, where are their cameras? They can speak directly to the president, the finance minister, and tell us what you would do if they don't respond to this your call. Maybe, yeah, you can look in that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. Mr. President, we believe that what you have demonstrated since you took office shows that you have some level of commitment to the good of the public. And I believe that you knew what you were promising about because you understand the issues very clearly before you made a promise about it. This borders on your integrity. We are pleading with you. The old women, upon their situation for which you made these promises, are still dying. The old men are still also dying. Some are still on their sick bed, hoping that you honor your promises. We are pleading with you. We can't bound you with time. But as you saw us doing with the previous government because of their position of delayment in payment and what have you, we will do same if your government fails to pay us with this upcoming mid-year budget that will be read in July 2026. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Charles Nyami is the convener for the aggrieved victims or investors, I should say. Ruswan, I'll just give you a few seconds. So as well, maybe the president has a soft spot for women, maybe.
We are just pleading to you, our president, and to the first lady. Please, talk on our behalf. The dying, the suffering is too much. Things are not easy. You promise. So we are expecting you to fulfill your promise so that
Continue.
So that we, the customers, the old men, the old ladies, those who need money to buy their medicine, that they can't even get that money to buy their medicine, we are pleading to you. Do something about it as early as possible. We are pleading. We are pleading to you. Our first lady, we are pleading to you. President, please have mercy upon the old one, the pensioners. It's not easy to be a pensioner. It's not easy. So we are begging. Do something for us.
All right. Ruswan, Charles, Kojo, Kofi. Well, yeah, I am certain that we definitely will have some responses.
Yeah.
This is the first part of the conversation. We might pick up on this conversation. We're going for a quick break, right?
When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Okay. We have some little messages to give and then we can wrap up. Yeah.
Right.
Let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we set the place. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you.
Puma Drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
The bottle line has been drawn and history is calling. 2 giants, 1 trophy. Will this be Arsenal's first ever Champions League trophy, or is PSG lifting it again for the 2nd time in a row? Join your #1 entertainment radio station, Hits 103.9 FM, at the Aviation Social Center as we watch Arsenal versus PSG battle on a giant screen. Ghana, get ready for the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026. This year, we've ramped up the excitement with sports quiz, soccer tournament, the Champions League anthem competition, esports, jammer, and more. All roads lead to the Aviation Social Center. Swag up your jerseys. Wear your football club jersey proudly. And let's all meet at the Aviation Social Center from 10 a.m. to late. Mark the date, Saturday, 30th May 2026. And get ready for lots of fun with friends and family. Entertainment with your favorite Hits FM personalities. Music with a Hits FM DJ squad. And amazing prizes to be won from 10 a.m. to the climax of the UEFA Champions League finale match in grand style. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026 is powered by Joy Sports with support from Joy Prime, Joy News, Joy FM, and My Joy Online, and proudly sponsored by TCL, Inspire Greatness, Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuel for all. Soccer Bet, your best bet for sports betting. Didi Shito, Efiedienye, Heineken, share the passion. Twisco chocolate food drink, power your dream. Ashesi University, educating the next generation of ethical and entrepreneurial leadership for Africa. Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app, Abaco Services Bibri, Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Pafi, day by day men, strong and refined, the skincare you deserve. Heritage Christian University, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Citizen Sports Mall, level up your game. Aqua Natural Mineral Water, Obenumanum Bium, DSTV, feel every moment. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2026.
We're just wrapping up here, but birthday wishes to our lovely wife Augusta Enieje of the UGMC Women and Children Department. This is from Professor Smart Sapon and your husband, Mr. Philip Ejapon of ES and ESL Asylum Down, and entire family. We love you, Mami Ness. Augusta Enieje, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. But in wrapping the show, Kojo, and we definitely will see you tomorrow. But choral music is often seen as old-fashioned in a generation driven by fast-paced contemporary sounds. But for Evelyn Ampa, it is a world she continues to hold on to after growing up in a family deeply rooted in chorals. In searching for why this music still matters, she discovers a deeper connection to history, identity, and belonging. We definitely will bring you the remainder of it if we are able to bring you the full one on the AM show. Definitely look out for it on the Joy News desk.
Okay.
Please stay. My name is Emefa Akosua-Adeti. He's a hunter, please don't mind him. Please stay for Joy News desk.
Why do you want to do that one? But that's
bye-bye.
Okay, Emmanuel Ahon Achito, happy birthday to you.